All right, come on. We got David, 50 terabytes of evidence. God damn.
50 terabytes?
50 terabytes is fucking insane.
That nigga gone.
It better be like, bro, it better be like 3 things that has a lot of weight on it. Or
if
something.
a dude ever came up to me, nigga, we got 50 terabytes of evidence, yo ass, I'm cooked. Like, I'm going to jail. I'm just accept it. At that point, like, nigga, you are not winning. Like,
how do you review all them shit? Unless bro got 4K, 8K resolution.
Like,
videos.
how the fuck is that,
saying, bro?
Like, how the fuck do you even use up that much space, my nigga?
I don't know, man.
They're not talking about gigabytes,
Terabytes.
CSAM, chainsaws, burn cage, inflatable pool, and body.
Yeah.
This dude is crazy.
Lock that nigga up in
I
the
don't
cemetery.
even want to know what that chainsaw is for, bro. That's crazy. All right, anyway, bada bing, bada boom. Let's do it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Grab your popcorn.
In some cases, it's more alarming to buy a money counting machine than to buy a cadaver bag. You can technically freely buy both online. The money counting machines being the little things where you put in a stack of cash, it counts it for you. Some of them are really smart. They do mixed bills of cash. So there's 5s, 10s, 100s in there. It'll count it. Then at some point, that was more alarming in the United States to purchase than body bags, full-on cadaver bags. In 2008, the DEA started to use blanket administrative subpoenas to vendors, people who are selling money counting machines.
But why was that?
We want a list of every single person who's buying a money counting machine. Basically, if you purchased one, I would imagine that you're still on some sort of federal watch list for buying that money counting machine, because why did you need one? The DEA has since stopped. There was a lot of public outrage, and human rights activists are.
That's crazy, bro. You know how many people have money printers?
Money counters? Like, what's wrong with having money counters?
Nigga, the whole hood has one, bro. They be counting that motherfucker.
I won't say the whole hood,
has since stopped. There was a lot of public outrage, and human rights activists arguing that it is actually abusive to Americans' right to privacy to put them on some sort of arbitrary list based solely on the fact that they purchased an item that is technically lawful to purchase. It's a lawful product. They're legally allowed to buy it. People were really upset about it until now. Now netizens are wondering, maybe we bring the list back and put some other things on the list. Because why are you allowed to go on Amazon and purchase a cadaver bag for $30?
Like, what do you need that for?
Crazy.
You can buy a cadaver bag online, like the ones that...
Like, nigga, you can buy a body bag, bro?
But is that what a body bag is called? Like a cadaver bag? Is that the actual legit name of it? Why the fuck are people able to buy that? Shouldn't the only niggas that have that are like the morgues, bro?
Halloween? That makes sense, but still, like, nigga.
But it ain't Halloween though.
I mean, I feel like they should only be selling in Halloween season.
Nah, bro. They should not be
they should make
selling
it
this shit
available.
What does that say?
Like, what the fuck would you need that for?
Dead body storage bag with zippers for funeral transportation and use.
Okay.
Nah, but still, bro. Like, I feel like this should only be specific people that can buy this shit. Not
Yeah,
to,
facts.
like, the whole fucking public.
Facts.
That's crazy.
Cadaver bag for $32. You can buy a cadaver bag online, like the ones that they use in morgues and hospitals, body bags. Depending on the quality, obviously, it's going to be a different price, but it's also going to be anywhere between somewhere to 100% leak proof for long-term storage. Some of them are going to be better sealed that prevents less odors from escaping. And body bags are not just used for human bodies, which might be why that they're so freely available on the market. Some hunters say that they use them for game, though I think that's now been labeled like a newbie mistake because you need your game meat to be able to breathe during transport. So sticking it in this heat-sealed body bag would be bad unless you're moving very quick. One hunter writes, you want to get your game out of the skin and on ice immediately. If not, you won't want to eat it. So maybe a no-go on the body bags. Aside from hunting, body bags are used by a lot of different people. Search and rescue teams for recovery missions. State emergency agencies will stockpile them for mass casualty events. Farms, sometimes vets, livestock vets, they're going to have body bags to transfer livestock to their final resting place, wherever that be, or to their cremation, their burial. Horse owners, cattle ranchers, lots of people will have them. And it's also just something that you can purchase on Amazon for $32. The reviews are not as grim as you would think. Some of these reviews are about people writing about how they used it for something completely unexpected. Somebody is using it to storage their mermaid tail, 9-foot tall mermaid tail under their bed in a body bag. Another says that they're a doctor for athletes and they use it as a cooling tub. So as they wait for EMT to arrive, they'll fill it with cold water if need be and throw the athlete in there. Another review reads, this bag was perfect for storing 2 7-foot-long pre-lit Christmas garlands without crushing them. It's very sturdy fabric. Zipper and handles makes it easy.
Okay,
Another
that makes
reads, I'm
sense.
tall. I got this for a camping trip because I needed a cheap way to make my sleeping bag waterproof. It's a bit awkward if anyone sees it since it looks like a body bag because it is a body bag. But it is, this was a good find though. And of course, there are other reviews that feel maybe a little more unsettling to read. Do not use this for what it was intended.
Like, I feel like it makes sense if you're using it for like storage and shit. Because I feel like that would be something I would use it for. To like somebody said, store away their Christmas lights or something, or the Christmas tree. You need a place to put them big ass Christmas tree, bro.
Man, get you a goddamn go bag.
I mean, why don't you just use the original box that it come in?
Some people lose the bag, You never know.
That's crazy.
But why don't you search up big ass Christmas bag tree or something?
Yeah, why don't you just
I want to search up, hey yo, body bag.
Body bag.
I want to put my Christmas tree in it.
Yeah, that shit
that
weird.
feel maybe a little more unsettling to read. Do not use this for what it was intended. It will leak and will not hold water or fluids.
Yo, what
Leaks
the fuck?
through all the stitching. But just because you order a body bag on Amazon, it doesn't mean that you get put on some federal watch list. Though recently people have been arguing, yeah, maybe you should be put on a watch list, especially when you purchase a body bag, an inflatable pool, 2 chainsaws, and a burn cage to go along with it.
I thought they had technology to track that.
This is the updated episode with all the legal updates for the David case.
What's a burn
where
cage?
last year in September, a 14-year-old girl's decomposing body was found in the trunk of this famous singer's car while he's out on tour. It took 7 months to arrest him. And this is what the authorities say happened.
Yeah, I remember this case, and I know a lot about this case. I
still remember everything.
I even kept up with it.
Nigga, I've been waiting.
I've been waiting for this, yeah. Now, I don't know the minute.
I see why they took so long, though, bro. That was gathering 50 terabytes of evidence.
Yeah, bro.
We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support NECMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's team of dedicated researchers. We'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at RottenMangoPodcast.com. Please be aware that there are mentions of grooming, CSA, CSAM, and dismemberment in relation to a 14-year-old child. This case may be extra sensitive due to the victim's age, so please don't hesitate to pause.
Hey, man,
we have 2 previous episodes on Celeste's case back when her body was first discovered. However, I would say that if you haven't seen those, maybe go watch those first. I'm still going to try my best to provide enough context and foundation to the case so that you're not completely lost as we go through the most recent case updates. Though if you ever find yourself at a point being like, oh, why don't you mention the song that he allegedly wrote in her name? Why don't you mention this? Those are probably in the first 2 episodes. Those are pretty thorough deep dives of all the internet speculation theories and comments that people had. And this is now with the legal aspect of the case, the preliminary hearing that's coming up, the arrest, and the preliminary hearing brief that the prosecutors dropped, as well as the autopsy. With that, statements, any quotes from court documents may be condensed or combined for brevity. So with that being said, let's get into it. Everyone has their own opinion on whether or not you should or should not bury your beloved family pet in your backyard. You have to weigh out your options. One person says they want to bury their family pet in their family pet's favorite spot in the backyard because that's what feels like honoring them. Another says, I mean, yeah, I get it, but I would never, because what if one day I move? Then I would rather my pet come with me, so I'm going to cremate them and then take them everywhere with me. I don't necessarily think that there's a right or wrong. It's all personal, unless you're breaking the law. It is not legal in every state, which poses a huge problem because you're grieving the loss of your family pet, and then the police are investigating you, especially if you are this particular family in the Hollywood Hills. Because it is illegal to bury your pet anywhere within the city of Los Angeles in your backyard.
Really?
Yeah, not only that, the smell is starting to get bad. They buried their family pet, this was a big dog, a husky, back in February of 2025. This is when the weather is still very chilly in LA. And now that it's hitting the summer months, I mean, some days are okay, but any time it gets above 70 degrees, the smell is starting to get really bad in the neighborhood. They're thinking maybe they didn't bury their beloved deep enough. And so right when they're about to take on this very alarming task, unpleasant project of digging up their family dog to rebury their remains even deeper, the smell stops. September of 2025, the smell is gone. This is right around the time that their neighbor's Tesla is also gone from being parked on the street. The smell is gone. It's getting hotter, but the smell is gone. We know now that the smell was likely not from the family dog being buried in the backyard, but this is what the family told a private investigator that had been looking into this case, that this whole time they thought it was their family pet.
That's so crazy. So they've been smelling for a long time.
Yeah. And now they know that it is most likely from human remains being stored in singer David's Tesla's front trunk. The smell in the neighborhood appears to have been present for months. There have been newly circulating clips. So I'm just going to...
It was in the front trunk?
Yeah.
Wow, front trunk is not that big.
No, it's pretty small.
That is small.
You'll see how the body was found in a second, but I'm going to give you a timeline. April 23rd, 2025 is when prosecutors believe Celeste Rivas Hernandez was killed. July 4th of 2025, there's this live stream that's been heavily circulating and people have been dissecting every single part of it. Major news networks have been throwing it up and then they're trying to catch background noise and they're adding subtitles of a confession and it doesn't necessarily sound like it to me, but there's just a lot being dissected in this live stream that we're going to go through the entirety of. But there's this one moment that everybody is fixated on because it's July 4th, 2025. The alleged murder took place April 23rd, 2025. So this is months later. And this is live streamed by a Twitch streamer by the name of Sakura. She is at David's house getting ready for a 4th of July party with David and a few other people. So they're all getting ready and then they're going to go to the FaZe compound for the 4th of July party.
Wow, I didn't know they're all close friends like that.
Yeah.
Because David's actually friends with a lot of streamers.
Yes, he started off as a streamer. Because he was streaming Fortnite and he's always been embedded in the streaming world. He has music videos with other streamers. He has music with streamers.
Wow.
Heavily
I
involved.
didn't even know.
These people are going to be important later, but you have David, you have Neo, who is David's friend, and also a Twitch streamer, but I think that he's a very small-time Twitch streamer. I've never heard of him up until this case. You have Asia, another one of David's friends, and a few other people that are lingering in the background. Like I said, there's a few notable parts in this live stream that we're going to go through, but particularly there is this one shot where they're just showing around the living room, and there is a candle balanced on the very edge of the grand piano right at the entrance of this house. This is kind of a weird thing to do because the candle is burning. And this candle is the size of, imagine a coffee mug and trying to balance it on the stem of a fork. It seems dangerous.
Look at this fucking candle, bro. Look at this fucking... What are we doing, bro?
And it seems like it's not doing enough to mask whatever is stinking up the house because at some point, David apologizes to Sakura on the live stream.
Oh, yeah, I apologize in my bathroom smelled. I took a shit in there like 2 hours ago.
You don't really see David in the stream, so he's not in the frame of the camera, but you see Sakura and she's sitting next to Neo, who's David's friend. And she's like, oh, I don't care. I just took a shit in there.
I don't care. I just took a shit in there. Another one? Type shit. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, I had to go.
And Neo is sitting there looking very uncomfortable. Like he's looking left, right, looking like, I mean, one could imagine that maybe Neo seems caught off guard that they're so openly discussing the bowel movements on camera. I mean, I guess some might even call it crass. But others think that Neo is not the type to be taken aback, clutching his pearls at the mention of poop. So why is he looking so uncomfortable? And what exactly are they even smelling? Let me run you through that timeline again so it makes sense. Celeste was killed, prosecutors believe, April 23rd of 2025. July 4th, 2025 is when this stream in question was filmed, with David apologizing to his friends about the smell in the bathroom because he pooped 2 hours ago. Then September 2025, Celeste's body is found in the front trunk of David's Tesla while he's out on tour. And for months, nothing substantial comes out about this case until January 23rd, 2026. So earlier this year, 4 months after Celeste's body is found, the very first arrest is made, not in LA, in Montana. And it's not of David, it's of his close and personal friend, Neo Langston. Neo Langston does not seem to have a personality outside of being David's friend. You can find out a lot about Neo Langston, also nothing about Neo Langston, all at the same time. He's a Twitch streamer. Apparently he played Fortnite a lot. That's all I know. Maybe that's the common interest that he had with David, or even how they met. He just makes like very mediocre content online. I don't know how else to describe it. One video is of him standing in the room stating,
"Motherfuckers that will go out of their way and do something for you and then expect something in return and then call themselves selfless." Like, no, motherfucker, you just a selfish, manipulative asshole. Like, get over yourself. F you.
Which I think is a very mediocre, just mindless take, but he thinks it's philosophically profound the way that he's spewing it out to the camera. There's another one of him in a beanie and a hoodie staring into the camera saying, "Quick reminder, good people don't call themselves good people." Thanks for the reminder, Neo. Why are you smiling in your mugshot? He's arrested January of 2026 and he's smiling in his mugshot. Full smiles.
Oh, no.
He also tried his hand at stand-up before all of this. He does a little stand-up bit where he says,
"Much dating experience," which hopefully is a shocker to y'all. I don't want y'all hearing that and be like, "Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense why he's bitch." I keep going through these like mini relationships, or as the kids call them, situationships. At the end of every single one of these situationships, the other person, and I mean this without fail, always finds the love of their life every single time. I help everyone find the love of their life, just at the expense of myself. It's just don't do that. Don't pity me, man. So I took this negative and turned it into a positive. I decided to make a dating profile, and it ends off with, "I'm not gonna be the love of your life. I'm the guy right before that. So if you want to find the love of your life, do yourself a favor and date me first."
He's not particularly memorable by any means, except for the fact that he was very proud to be David's one and only Asian. He actually said that.
"I'm David's one and only Asian, bro. No one else, just me and David."
He gives me the type that if he and David are in the restroom and there is no toilet paper, he would gladly offer David his palm. I would say no offense, but that would be a lie because full offense is meant in that. He gets arrested at his mom's house in Montana on a warrant for failing to appear as a witness. He gets hauled back. He gets extradited to Los Angeles, where he is reportedly forced to testify in front of a grand jury in connection with David's case. I'm going to try to break down all the grand jury shenanigans as cleanly as possible. There's been so much discourse about, oh, because it wasn't a charging grand jury, it must mean that the DAs don't have enough evidence. There's a lot of discourse about it, and hopefully this clears up some of it. When we hear grand juries, typically what we picture is a charging grand jury. It's where the DA will present a structured case to the grand jurors. This is sealed. This is not public. You can't go and watch this happen. There's no judge in the room, no defense attorney, no defendant. Just the DA presenting their case to the jurors. They can bring in witnesses. They can bring in other people. I'm going to give an example. The target of our investigation is Chelsea. Chelsea, we think she stole her best friend's cat. Here are our witnesses. Her best friend's mom, her best friend, the neighbor who was an eyewitness saw her steal the cat. Here's our exhibits and all the elements of each proposed count that we want to bring on. Now please vote. Okay, Chelsea, you are now indicted with stealing a cat. Technically, that would never happen because stealing a cat in most jurisdictions would be considered a misdemeanor, and I think it would be highly unlikely for a grand jury indictment to be done over a misdemeanor. You get the point. This is just an example. In the federal system, essentially every federal felony begins with a grand jury. You need a grand jury indictment. That's what the feds do. That's not the case on a state level, like California. The choice is up to the DA, whether or not they want a grand jury indictment before arresting someone. So this is the way that it works. You can get a grand jury indictment and then arrest somebody. Or you can arrest someone and file a criminal complaint. But the most common method is you file a criminal complaint and then you arrest someone. So you don't need the grand jury indictment. I mean, that's what a lot of people picture, though, when they refer to a grand jury. It's a charging grand jury. The DA is here to get an indictment at the end. There's a different kind of grand jury. It's an investigative grand jury, and they cannot be the same. So you can't go in there and say, hey guys, I'm the DA. I'm going to start this off as an investigative grand jury, but then I might change my mind, and at the end, you guys get to vote on whether we indict.
Good night.
You can start another one, you can convene another one, but you can't do it in the same one. They use the same grand jurors, but the prosecutor, the DA, is not asking for a vote. They're just using the grand jury's subpoena power to investigate a case. So to give you some context, unless the police have a warrant, really at most, all they can do if you maybe saw Chelsea steal a cat, is ask you politely to talk to them about what you saw. But you could also say no. But a grand jury compels you to testify. You have to come in and you have to answer these questions. Otherwise, you're going to be held in contempt of court, which is a crime, a felony. So now you are forced to come in and answer these questions. Another huge element is they're locking in testimonies. So it's not even just about forcing people to come in and testify.
So also, is that what happened to Neil? He refused to come to this grand jury.
Yes. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, and this is going to get complicated later. We're going to do a whole deep dive into Neo in a second. But even if you don't show up, you're kind of taking the risk of maybe they're going to arrest you, maybe they're not.
So this arrest is not even like about, oh, he's guilty of anything related to the crime. It's just you refuse to talk to us. So.
But I think the arrest itself, people have been dissecting in terms of the LAPD going all the way to Montana to make this, or coordinating with Montana to make this arrest. Yeah. It must mean that Neo knows something, or at least they thought he knows something. Maybe he doesn't know anything. They just thought so.
Yeah, but they're close friends.
It's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. You're bringing in people to testify because maybe they wouldn't otherwise. Then the second aspect of an investigative grand jury is you're locking in these testimonies. People are testifying under oath in front of the grand jurors. This transcript will always be there forever. And if the case goes to trial 2 years down the line, the prosecutors, defense, they can and will hold it against you and try to impeach you on the stand, even if you're the prosecutor's witness. So this is why prosecutors might want to bring in someone like Neo to testify. So to give you an idea, okay, let me explain. Let's say you saw Chelsea steal the cat. You're subpoenaed. You testify to the grand jurors. I saw her pick up the cat with both of her hands, and she put the cat in her backpack, and then she ran to the car. 2 years later, you're on the stand during the trial, and you tell the jurors, I saw her pick up the cat, and she was running with the cat to the car. The defense is going to try to impeach you. Did she have a backpack? You're like, no, I didn't see a backpack. They're like, oh, well, 2 years ago during the grand jury investigation, you stated, and she put the cat in her backpack. So do you not remember? Or did you see a backpack? You didn't see a backpack? Or like, you just don't care? Or did you even see her run to the car? Or sometimes it's for the prosecutors. So if you're friends with the target of the investigation, you might change your mind about what you said. It just could be human nature. And maybe you feel bad for Chelsea. 2 years later, you're on the stand at the trial, and the prosecutors knew that you have a soft spot for Chelsea, and now you're on the stand and you say, I don't remember if she put the cat in her backpack. Honestly, I think the cat might have just walked with her to the car by itself. I don't remember her picking it up. I don't know. I can't tell you. They can technically impeach their own witness and say, no, you're lying. 2 years ago, you told us at the grand jury investigation that you saw her put the cat in her backpack. Don't lie now.
I will be cooked,
so
bro. With my dementia, bro.
So they're like, you can't go back on your word now. We're going to impeach you with this.
Fuck my ass
and there's also the secrecy element. Grand jury proceedings are...
People live go be there, like, I said that?
That nigga was
I said that shit?
Really?
I said that?
I don't remember saying that shit.
I would never see no dumb shit like that.
I never seen no shit like that. I don't remember saying
that
shit.
Song. No, it sound like me. I didn't say that shit.
Sure, that was me, nigga.
We're going to impeach you with this. And there's also the secrecy element. Grand jury proceedings are sealed, which means the target of the investigation, David in this case, will not learn what others have said until years later if he's charged. Well, in this case, it won't be years later, but it'll be later. So he doesn't know what's being said while it's happening. It's not, you can't request the court transcript for grand jury investigations. And it keeps autopsy details, forensic findings sealed away from the public during the investigation. Basically, an investigative grand jury makes sense in this case when prosecutors want subpoena power. They want testimony under oath. They want people to come in that would never sit voluntarily, and they need to lock in their stories. A lot of netizens were initially concerned that an investigative grand jury meant that this was a weaker case for the prosecutors, just gauging based off the fact that they didn't have a charging grand jury. Thankfully, that is not the case. It's just what the DA decides to do to get what they want. They had 3 investigative grand juries, not to indict, but to investigate the target, David Anthony Burke, for murder. I'm going to run through the timeline. September 8th, 2025, There's a black Tesla sitting in the impound lot of Hollywood Tow. You guys know the story, but there's a little bit more that's come out since. The employees see flies circulating the frunk, and the smell emanating, they describe it as being foul. They call the police. LAPD Detective Clore, he opens up the front trunk of the Tesla, and he notices this large black zippered body bag with handles. It's very clear it's a cadaver bag. It's not just like a trash bag, it's not a laundry bag, it's a cadaver bag. The report reads, he partially opened the bag to reveal a human torso and the back of a head. The autopsy further states how the body was delivered to the ME's office, so we can kind of understand how the body was found in the trunk. Quote, I observed the decedent's posterior head and torso lying prone, so face down. So Celeste's torso and head were found face down in the body bag when you open the zipper. And her head was oriented towards the north. Details. She appeared of indeterminate age and ethnicity with dark hair and natural teeth. She was wearing a tube top, underwear, and leggings and socks. I observed multiple holes in the front and back of the tube top. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. Underneath the body bag was a black trash bag that contained the decedent's apparent compiled bilateral arms and legs. They appear to have been dismembered into several fragments. The decedent was in an advanced state of decomposition demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction, insect activity, partial skeletonization, and skin slippage. Side note, she couldn't even be fingerprinted because her fingers were waterlogged, which means through decomp and sitting there in that body bag, her fingers had soaked up so much fluid that the ridge pattern that is typically used for fingerprinting was useless for an ID. The report reads, the decedent was female and had dark hair with decomposition fluid and insect activity. Also, insect activity was observed on the body and the body bag. The body bag had a double zipper, 3 handles on each length side, and a handle on the top and bottom width end. The body bag took up most of the front space.
There's no way he's
the
this
trash
dumb,
bag
bro.
were, quote, the trash bag was tied and contained with the dismembered arms. So the decedent's arms were cut and removed at the bicep, so above the elbow, under the shoulder. This is an interesting point that a lot of former medical examiners have been commenting on. How did he think
he was going to get away with this?
Usually people in cases like this, where there's not a lot of medical knowledge, people will try dismemberment at joints, so elbows and shoulders. Yeah. The fact that that was not done is just interesting. I mean, I'm sure someone could psychologically break it apart, break it down. That person wouldn't be me, but they just noted it's interesting. So at the bicep, and the legs were cut twice, so severed above the knee, so around the thigh, and then below the knee, around the calf.
So is it like, again, through the...
Yeah, so not the joints, so not the knees, not the ankles. So the legs were in 4 separate pieces, and this autopsy was sealed until as of recent. This was presented to the grand jurors during the investigations, I'm sure. I mean, perhaps they received even more information, which would be likely, but the public autopsy does not indicate whether or not the dismemberment had clean cuts, how rough the cuts were. There's just a lot up for forensic debate. The report reads that on the right hand, on the inside of her right index finger, she has the sh tattoo, which David has been photographed with having a very similar tattoo, which that was like dug up.
SHHH on the finger.
Yes,
right?
like you would put your finger to your mouth and say shh, as in keep quiet. The report continues that her left eye is gone, and quote, the left ring and pinky fingers appear to have been mutilated, and I did not locate them during my scene examination. They're actually still missing. So her left ring finger and her pinky are still missing. Now, reportedly, Celeste had David's name tattooed on her left finger. I don't know if you remember, but there were pictures that were circulating on Discord where somebody was wearing what appeared to be almost like a promise ring, engagement ring, and then had David tattooed on there. People were saying, oh, maybe that's Celeste, maybe that's Celeste. I mean, that was all up in the air for debate. It seems a little bit more solidified now, though we still can't confirm it 100%, but that's just what it appears to be. And now those 2 fingers are missing. That's in September. They have their first grand jury investigation December of 2025, and then the third one January of 2026. Then Thursday, April 16th, 2026. So this is 7 months and a week after finding Celeste's body in the Tesla. LAPD walk up this driveway and they are finally arresting David in a $3.5 million house in the Hollywood Hills. Not the house that David was living in when Celeste's body was found in his car. This is a new house that he's rented. And for the past 7 months, David more or less had gone radio silent. He was not publicly seen for months. A lot of people were actually under the impression that he had gone to Texas to be with his family after Celeste's body was identified. He canceled his tour. He didn't post on social media. He went dark. There were reports and rumors that he was active on Fortnite, that he was reviewing movies on a movie account, like rating system, but he doesn't publicly say anything. He's not caught by TMZ grocery shopping at Trader Joe's. He was apparently hiding out in a new rental in the Hollywood Hills for the past 7.5 months. A new house that apparently nobody knew he was hiding out in for the past 7.5 months. This house, there's a very private pool area with a cabana. It's 4-bed, 3-bath. It's a stunning house. Wow. It's in a very calm neighborhood, very close to the other house that he was living at when Celeste's body was found. Except on Thursday, this neighborhood was not so quiet. April 16th, 2026, one neighbor says she just hears on a loudspeaker, "Surrender. It's time to surrender, David. Time to surrender." She has no clue what's happening.
I heard someone on the megaphone saying, "Surrender, surrender, come out."
In fact, another neighbor releases video of David talking to the police who came to arrest him, and they're letting David know if he tries to run, they're going to release the canine dogs and he's going to get bit. To which David says, almost in this casual tone, "I got you. I got you."
If you try to run or if you try to resist, you won't get hit while not lethal. It's gonna hurt. I got you.
He has to come out through the gate, but he also needs to keep his hands in the air. So he asks them, "All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate?"
All right, so the gate is locked. You want to open the gate? Sir, open the gate.
He opens the gate at the police's instruction and he's promptly arrested. He is by all means cooperative in the arrest. He's wearing gray sweatpants, a black hoodie. He's escorted out of this Hollywood Hills house that he's staying in with his arms behind his back. He's taken to LAPD's 77th Street Community Police Station and booked in at 10:12 p.m. as inmate number 7221640 and is held without bail.
That's crazy. So you're saying that this is the first time people know that David lives in this house?
One neighbor later tells the news, "We were surprised to learn David was living nearby. We never saw him."
We never saw him. We never saw anyone going in or out of this house. We actually assumed no one was living there.
Another neighbor says all of our neighbors were kind of in a group chat and we were like,
"This was kind of scary that we've been living around the corner from an accused murderer."
Is he living alone though?
It seems like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy. How does he even get food, or how did he even get in there at the first place? We don't know any of this.
No. Another neighbor, look, I don't know which neighbor is telling the truth. Perhaps one or some are mistaken. Maybe they're all telling the truth, but it's all kind of in the middle. But another neighbor says, "Well, I'm glad he's been arrested because there were parties at that house all the time."
One neighbor actually told me that he's relieved that there was an arrest because he said that there have often been parties at this home. I asked if he's heard parties here recently. He said it's an ongoing problem.
What?
He's like, it's been an ongoing problem for me. Now, we don't know if maybe one of the neighbors
got Karen.
Ain't no way niggas.
It's probably a Karen, bro. Because if nobody ever seen anybody come out of it but one person see a party, something as party, nigga. Like, boy, that would be loud as fuck. Yeah. Like, the neighbors will know a party's going on next door. Or like,
you have a group chat too.
Especially if they're saying it's an ongoing problem. Like, that don't even tie. Like, she's probably hearing some other niggas.
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
But they probably hear.
Question: who pulling up to those parties?
Like, exactly, who pulling up to this? Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, nigga, around this time, nobody gonna be around that nigga.
Yeah,
you gotta understand. Like, this nigga is being accused of shit. So why would niggas pull up to that party? Like, nigga, that just make them hot.
And bro would be crazy as hell to even throw a party, nigga. Like, bro, you are hot right now, like, nigga.
Right.
That shit is crazy.
I doubt.
He's like, it's been an ongoing problem for me. Now, we don't know if maybe one of the neighbors got confused about which house they're talking about. Maybe he was throwing parties. We don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, in my opinion, if he was throwing parties and people were showing up.
I would.
But I just don't imagine that would not get posted on social media.
He's too hot. Like, there's no way.
He would be at the house party.
Like that shit, you would have seen.
So I don't know. Maybe he's mistaken. Maybe it's a different house, but it's the big question though is why now? Not that anybody.
If niggas was actually partying at this place, especially around this time when this nigga is being accused or he is dealing with a murder case 7 months within those 7 months before him getting caught, nigga, there would have been hella niggas. Oh, so this nigga partying and like, bro, I can see it all over right now. Yeah. This nigga's partying, but nigga, you got a murder case above you. Like, bro, I can see it, bro. Niggas would have posted the fuck out of that.
These lawyers wouldn't even recommend he do that shit, to be honest. Yeah. Or unless bro thought he was really free, bro.
But it's the big question though is why now? Not that anybody is upset that he's getting arrested, but we also wanted this like 7 months ago. So why now?
It's a huge question about why it took authorities 7 months to arrest this man. The DNA evidence probably was gone because there was so much deterioration of the body. Plus, the authorities wanted to talk to lots of witnesses. That probably explains the gap.
We know that the DA's office did not get a grand jury indictment to arrest David. There was actually no criminal complaint filed before David's arrest, which means LAPD would have probable cause to arrest him, which makes people confused. Because, okay, so the way that it works is you get an indictment and then you arrest. That indictment means that you can arrest. The DA's office will file a criminal complaint. With that, the police are like, oh, now we can go arrest. The third way, which is the way that they did it, is the LAPD go in and they arrest. Now, for the LAPD to do that without an indictment or a criminal complaint, that means they need to have probable cause to arrest him. So that has people confused. Like, what probable cause do you have now, 7 months later, that you didn't have 7 months ago?
That's what I'm saying.
One of the arresting officers says, we did the best we can to keep tabs on him, but once we developed probable cause to arrest him for murder, then we were on him pretty diligently. Which a lot of people are like, that makes it sound like you just got this probable cause. That this is not something that you've been sitting on for months, because at that point you should have arrested him. So like, why didn't you have that months ago and suddenly you got it in April of this year? Netizens believe that maybe police received a new big piece of evidence they didn't have before. Maybe they received forensic testing back. Maybe they got a witness statement that could be verified. Or maybe they felt like David was going to flee the country, because all of those would result in probable cause. It could be any and all of those things, or none of those things really. I mean, the DA has been rather tight-lipped about why the process took so long. They were giving the expected answers. More on that in a second. But David is charged with count 1, first-degree murder with 3 special circumstances. The special circumstances means in the state of California, he could face the death penalty. That's up to the prosecutors to decide if that's the route that they want to take. And he only has to be found guilty of 1 of the special circumstances. The first special circumstance is lying in wait. So this is on top of the murder charge. Like murder charge, special circumstance. Meaning that...
I ain't gonna lie, bro, get death penalty, bro? Nigga, that might be the first artist that ever gotten something like that.
Is it? No, hell no.
I don't think I've
Is it?
That guy.
No, because nigga didn't Death Row isn't, they literally call it Death Row because
Death Row
wasn't there hella niggas that would?
I don't know. I don't think so. But that's the only thing I can think of. That shit is crazy.
No. So this is on top of the murder charge. Like murder charge, special circumstance. Meaning that they're trying to prove that David concealed his purpose, that he watched and he waited for the perfect opportunity to surprise attack and kill Celeste from a position of advantage. The second special circumstance is murder for financial gain, which this is exactly what it sounds like, but technically some legal experts believe that this is actually the weakest of the 3 special circumstances, mainly because of legal wording. Some legal experts believe that protecting pre-existing income might not qualify as financial gain. So they're saying like usually in legal situations, you're talking about killing someone for inheritance, an insurance payout, or a murder for hire payment, you're gaining financial gain. It might not apply to someone killing to prevent the loss of an already established income stream.
I see.
Though I think that could be easily debated with prosecutors presenting the fact that he's going on tour right after allegedly killing Celeste, and that would be a new income stream. He released a new album, which is a new income stream just days after they alleged David killed Celeste, 2 days after his new album drops. And other cases have treated avoidance of loss as equivalent to acquisition of gain. So Experts think that this will be the most litigated special circumstance, but I don't know. Then you have the special circumstance of murder of a witness, and this is where a lot of people have been getting confused. Allegedly, David intentionally killed Celeste for the purpose of preventing potential testimony in a criminal proceeding. So everyone just started running with it, and they were like, oh my God, Celeste had already gone to the police. Celeste had gone to the police, and she was a witness in the crime against her of him grooming her, essaying her, and then he needed to kill her to make sure that she's no longer a witness. That's not necessarily what the wording means. It just means that she is a witness to a crime that was committed against her. There's no way to verify as of right now that she had already gone to the police about it. But the wording, I think a lot of people were running with it like she had already gone to the police.
Mm-hmm.
He has also been charged with continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14. They are very specific about this charge. So the charge date is September 7th, 2023 to September 7th, 2024. So this is the exact year that she's 13 years old.
This shit is confusing.
Now, something to note is the prosecutors believe that this documented abuse will be from when Celeste was 13 all the way up until her death. So when she's 14 as well. They're like, oh yeah, he was abusing her when she was 14 too. But they only charge him for the time that she's 13. And that is highly intentional. So when the victim is under 14, it's going to make the case the most severe in the state of California. And also in the state of California, if a child is under 14, the prosecution does not have to disprove consent. Basically, based on California law, the victim's consent is not a defense to the crime of lewd and lascivious acts on a child under the age of 14 under any circumstance. So the defense, if they try to do, oh, the victim wanted this, initiated this, kept repeatedly coming back, was gaining financially from it, it doesn't matter because they're under 14. Yeah, so the judge is going to say, oh, jury, ignore everything the defense is saying.
That makes sense.
Also, the mistake of age is not a viable defense for this charge. So when someone is under 14, it doesn't matter even if this is true. It doesn't matter if the defendant is like, no, I swear and I have all the evidence that I thought she was 18. It literally doesn't matter. You can't use it as a defense. It doesn't matter. No matter how true it may be, even though I genuinely think that you can tell the age difference between someone who's 18 and 13. But even if you say the victim lied to you, doesn't matter. Again, I still think that you would have to be hit on the head a bunch of times to be deluded into believing that David didn't know Celeste's real age, but he won't be able to use this. Then count 3 is the unlawful mutilation of human remains. This is what a lot of people call the floor conviction. Even if they can't get David on the murder charge, which given the information being released thus far, I mean, albeit it is released by the prosecutors, it seems hard to imagine that they won't get him for the murder charge. But even if they don't, this is their floor conviction. They're probably, most definitely, going to get him for this. And the prosecutors, they're going strong. The felony complaint reads that David, quote, with malice aforethought, murdered Celeste. It is further alleged that the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez was intentional and was carried out by the defendant, David Burke, for financial gain. It's further alleged that the defendant intentionally killed the victim by means of lying in wait. D.A. Hockman, this is the district attorney Hockman, he says,
these charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
He says, my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. So this is just him legally saying, just because we charged him doesn't mean that's evidence.
Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true.
He later explains that, quote, there is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Celeste was just a child under 14 years old when David Burke allegedly engaged in a repeated lewd and lascivious sexual relations with her, but David Burke's actions did not allegedly stop there. When she threatened to expose his criminal conduct and devastate his musical career, Burke allegedly murdered her. cut up her body, and stuffed her body in 2 bags that were placed in the front trunk of his car. There, the dismembered body sat for over 4 months, decomposing until it was found at a tow yard on September 8th, 2025. This horrific and gruesome murder committed by the charged sexual predator is shocking and appalling to Celeste's loved ones. We will get the justice you seek and deserve. By the time that you're seeing this, we are now heading into the preliminary hearing for David. And there's a lot more of the weird aspects about the preliminary hearing that we're going to get into later and what to expect and like why it's working out the way that it's working. But before that, the prosecutors have decided to drop a preliminary hearing brief. A pre-prelim is what some people are calling it.
And then another 7 months to arrest
called
the
the People's Brief regarding preliminary hearing evidence. And it's almost like a narrative timeline of what the prosecutors believe happened to Celeste. And this is, by all means, kind of unusual. Usually prosecutors don't drop a brief before the preliminary hearing. It's it's not something they shouldn't do. It's just unusual. But let's dissect it. So we already know that September 8th, 2025, Celeste's body is found in the front trunk of David's Tesla. And we all know that it seems like she had been deceased for a long time, but nobody really knew the strong, firm timeline of when she could have passed. People were just saying, oh, one friend came out anonymously on Reddit and Discord and said this is the last time they heard from her. This is just like internet ramblings of us piecing together what we thought happened. The prosecutors are like, I'll give you the timeline. The court document reads, April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. So she would have been deceased for about 5 months before her body is found. We are given more detail about when the two met. So January of 2022 is when the prosecutors believe this is 3 years before her death. Celeste is 11 years old. It goes on to state, they began a sexual relationship in November 2023 when the victim was just 13 years old and the defendant was 18 years old. We're going to focus more on that time period in a second, but we're just going to go over the other findings first. Prosecutors believe that Celeste is killed April 23rd, 2025. And the night before she's killed, so April 22nd, David and Celeste get into an argument over text messages. We don't have those exact text messages right now, but it appears those will probably be introduced into evidence and will probably be key pieces for motive. The brief reads, the messages reveal the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationship with other women, as defendant led her to believe that they had a future together. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Defendant's first studio album was due to be released on April 25th. So these text messages are happening April 22nd. She's killed allegedly April 23rd. And his Withered album, this is actually his first studio album, debut studio album, is scheduled to be released April 25th.
Insane. And this still came out on the 25th?
Yes, and he went on tour for it. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. This is what the prosecutors state in their brief. He also had multiple product endorsements, which were highly profitable. So back to April 23rd. So April 22nd, it seems like they were arguing over text. She was jealous. I mean, these are the words that they choose to use, right? Over his relationship with other women, could be girls, could be minors. We don't know. April 23rd, pre-sale tickets for his Withered World Tour go on pre-sale. And this is the tour that he keeps bringing a casket to each of the tour locations. Remember, we covered that in the first 2 episodes? This is that tour. He even posts on TikTok, your prayers have finally been answered. My album drops tomorrow, which you probably have to go through the Reddit trenches to find this, or go through our first 2 videos. His TikTok has since been deactivated by TikTok after his arrest. That was around 5:50.
Actually sick as fuck.
Bro, I don't know how you can be so
disgusting.
It's like
he did it by himself or he hired somebody.
I don't fucking
no way.
The
next day, bro, you are up and happy and giggling.
Yeah, I'm about to what the chill, fuck? Nigga.
It's
I'm dropping an album, bro. This shit gonna be lit. Bro, what is how do you think like that?
Bro.
You just murdered something.
Literally a night before, bro. And then the next day you up on TikTok promoting your album nothing happened.
Even if he didn't kill anybody, just the fact that your name is tied to a murder.
Yeah. Nigga,
nigga,
myself.
Bro.
Nigga.
Nigga, I be trying, hey man, get my name off this shit immediately.
I swear to God, this nigga worried about an album and tour and shit.
Bro, this shit
dog.
Yeah, the casket shit at concert is crazy.
TikTok has since been deactivated by TikTok.
Hey, niggas was cheering for this shit.
That was around 5:53 that he posted that. The brief reads that at around 8:40 p.m., April 23rd, David sends Celeste an Uber to her family house in Lake Elsinore. That Uber is now going to take Celeste an Uber 8:40 p.m., April 23rd. David sends Celeste an Uber to her family house in Lake Elsinore. That Uber is now going to take her, drive about an hour and a half, all the way from Lake Elsinore to David's house in the Hollywood Hills. And this ride was, by all means, completed. So the prosecutors state that during this Uber ride, the two of them are communicating, I'm assuming texting. And eventually, she's dropped off at his Hollywood Hills home at around 10:10 p.m. Now, the filing says, knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. At no time did he call law enforcement or 911 or take her to an emergency room to attempt to save her life. Wow. He allegedly stabs her on the right abdomen, so injuring her liver. A second stab wound is on the left side of her chest with penetration of underlying intercostal space. And the second stab was in her left chest area. The autopsy reads there are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. So, everyone's thinking a knife, but they can't in the autopsy say a knife. They can't be that specific. Stood by while she bled out. That has been a huge topic of discussion online with people saying, oh, well, how could the prosecutors write that unless someone has proof of him doing that? Was a witness there? Did a witness come by and say, oh, he stood there and watched her bled out? Others are saying this wording has been misconstrued because people have been taking it, running with it and saying he watched her bleed out, which almost insinuates that he got off on her dying and he was just watching the life drain out of her. I will say something to note is it just seems like a narrative inference to emphasize that he did nothing to save her life. So I don't necessarily think that there was a witness, at least at this point, that saw it happen or heard that he did that. It seems narrative at this point. Now, the prosecutors seem to believe that after stabbing her, he sends her a message at approximately 10:30 p.m. So she arrives at the house, 10:10. This is 20 minutes later. He sends a text message to Celeste inquiring about where she is.
What time? 10:30?
Yeah, 10:30 p.m. So the people are saying, the people meaning the prosecutors, they're saying this is part of the defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder. Like, they believe she's already dead at this time. The filing further alleges, despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show the defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, the defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. We know that he makes at least 3 trips to Santa Barbara after killing Celeste.
Santa Barbara is like hours away.
Yeah, Santa Barbara is really far.
About like a few hours, right?
Yeah, and I remember the drive is like there's a lot of isolated parts even to get from LA to Santa Barbara, because we've made that drive before as well. And there's like lots of parts where there's not a lot of people, especially on the road that you're supposed to take. Yes.
He drove like that the same night?
Yeah. And then he drives like a few weeks later too. So he makes at least 3 separate trips. Santa Barbara, I think, is going to be a pretty big element in all of this, whether or not it's fruitful in finding items that the police need. I just think there's something in Santa Barbara. That's what a lot of people think. Because January of this year, Celeste's passport card was found in Santa Barbara off the highway. So this is before the arrest.
What?
And the phrasing in this document is, in fact, the defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property, so that could mean her ID, and destroy evidence. Is that just like clumped together, oh, her property is evidence, or could it be the murder weapon because that hasn't been found yet? What else do they think that he could have disposed out there? Could it be the missing left ring finger and pinky finger that have still yet to be found? Or is it just the passport ID card? Why did he make so many trips? At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, he drives to Santa Barbara. So she arrives at 10:10, he texts her at 10:30, and then 11:30, he starts driving. He calls and texts Celeste's phone as he's driving, asking where she is. The prosecutors state, again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. He gets home early the next morning, April 24th, 2025, and he does this quick radio interview for the release of his album. That's all the prosecutors give us, a radio interview. People have been dissecting it. So the Zach Sang Show interview comes out, but that was actually filmed early in April. I will say the date hasn't been confirmed, but it seems like it was not that interview because he talks about Coachella. He talks about going to Coachella. He talks about preparing for Coachella, which happened before.
I'm practicing new flips for Coachella.
What?
New flips.
You're gonna flip?
I am.
Then people have brought up a different interview, the Songwriter Universe interview. And I will say that he does sound really tired in it. It's like an 11-minute audio interview. He sounds exhausted.
Basically, it was a very, very unorthodox way of getting into music. I was never very musically inclined my entire life. I never really focused on music or had a drive or a passion for music.
Usually in interviews, he gets off on explaining his creative process and being the most creative person in the room. But this interview, it just seems like he's, oh yeah, so I got my start in my sister's closet with my phone in BandLab, and I just said, this is how I started because I didn't want Fortnite I was getting copyrighted on my Fortnite streams, blah, 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 blah. It just seemed very less enthusiastic, less sidetracking thoughts, which usually he's a fan of. However, I will say there are parts in the interview where they say, oh, your album comes out later in April.
Right.
So that wording makes it, makes it sound like it's not.
So people haven't found the exact interview?
So we don't know exactly which radio interview this is. I'm sure we'll probably find out if this progresses to a trial, but around that time, so this is again, the day after killing Celeste, he does this radio interview and, quote, he sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. Again, I guess this is his way of trying to create some sort of alibi and excuse, but the crazy part is prosecutors allege after April 26th, defendant never attempted to contact her again. So he really only does this. He only puts up this ruse for like 3 days. The day after allegedly killing Celeste, he's doing the radio interview and he orders something on Postmates, which is basically Uber Eats. He orders a shovel from Home Depot. That same day, he apparently goes on a live stream. There's not a whole lot of clips online, but the timeline seems to match up to this day. But don't quote me on it. It's not confirmed. This is allegedly 18 hours after allegedly killing Celeste, and he's just talking about his Fortnite locker. So with the release of his album, because he's been obsessed with Fortnite since day one, he did a song for Fortnite that you can use without copyright. Like, it was a whole thing. It was supposed to be a full circle moment, and Fortnite also released a locker that you could get, which has a bunch of David merch or David items that you could, now you can refund them if you purchase them, by the way. And the whole stream, he seemingly cannot stop blurting out words. Like, one person is just commenting, like, his energy is so strange because he's just rambling. It's like he's filling a word count.
What is he doing?
Just on Fortnite, he's like, look at my locker. Oh yeah, one day I'm gonna get a skin. Oh, that's my dream to get a skin. Yeah, I'm a furry. Like, he's literally just, it sounds like he's on drugs, I would say. He seems manic.
We get the skin, it's gonna be a monumentous moment. Monumented moment. Yes, I'm so hyped, bro.
He seems, I don't know if it's the adrenaline high. I don't know if he's on drugs to push through. I don't know. Another person just comments, bear in mind, he just had his first album released. He just killed someone. He's probably on drugs. Guy's brain must have been going like 1,000,000 miles per hour. Another note, his energy is definitely off. At one point, he can't stop talking, probably to take any thoughts out of his brain. Another comment addresses people saying that David was feeling euphoric after killing Celeste. So a lot of people have interpreted this clip as like, look at him, he's on cloud 9, he's getting high from the kill. One comment writes, I feel like people really fetishize him as some sort of Ted Bundy type. It's probably anxiety and stimulants. Even if he felt like it was the perfect crime, everyone would have had some sort of anxiety. And that's not to humanize him, you know. It's apparently after this live stream that he attends an album release party held for him at the 100 Thieves compound. He's wearing sunglasses and he looks, at least from the outside perspective, completely normal. He's very smiley, as one would be expected to be for an album release party. He's thanking, he's hugging people. A few things that people noted is that he appears to be wearing a silver Hello Kitty bow ring on one finger. Some people suspect that it was Celeste.
It's kind of crazy that from that point on, everything is almost recorded to the public.
Documented, yeah.
It was live. and people were living through it with him without knowing what's going on.
There are points that he even uses words like dismemberment when he's discussing something else after the alleged date of the dismemberment. So there's just a lot that comes out online, and usually I try to be a little bit cautious and wary of tying things that people post online to exact state of minds, because I just feel like you get disproven so many times during the trial. Like, that wasn't even the timeline. There's just a lot up for debate. But I will say with this case, it gets harder and harder not to do it. Even his lyrics, usually I'm not big on like, oh, guys, this is what his lyrics said, so it must mean he was planning it all along. But it's just there's so much overlap of weird coincidences, as well as the fact that he used her voice.
This is one of the only artists I've ever heard where his music literally intertwines with what the fuck he did in real life.
Yeah. And YNW too. That's some YNW shit.
Like, this is the only niggas
that nigga had music videos.
I mean, I know there's hella niggas, there's hella rappers that literally talk about what they've done. It's like storytelling ass rappers, bro. I ain't gonna say no names, but there's niggas like that, right? Don't get it twisted. We hear them all the time, but like in this way though, like literally word for word describing everything that he either was about to do or what he already did, like word for word. Niggas is actually naming people, like
he literally had her name in one of his songs.
Yeah, he even had an actor reenact her, bro. Like actual, like in depth. Like, I ain't never seen no artist do no shit like this.
And doesn't it drop like his songs or album on like on her birthdays?
Yeah, and then like
something like that. Yeah,
he released the album on her birthday or some shit like that. Like, but I don't know how the fuck. It's just crazy how the nigga murdered somebody and the next day nigga was up. Like nothing happened.
Niggas is over here.
Nigga was on people's stream 2-3 months later.
Making TikToks.
Yeah.
Talk about my album dropping, bro. Like bro, smiling and shit. Having fun. Like, how can you do that? Nigga went on tour, bro.
Yeah, that's
after
what I'm
nigga. When the niggas found the body in the trunk, the nigga was in the middle of a concert and acted as if nothing ever happened. Nigga was still performing. Like, bro, how do you even like?
I mean, like in that case, you do kind of have to play it off. You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
nigga,
it's just nigga acting like nothing.
It's like he thugged it out and performed it all the way through, right? Yeah. And it's like, you have. I swear you have to be on drugs. Like, you have to be on drugs.
Bro.
You have to be on drugs. Like, you have to be. Like, there's no way, bro. Like,
yeah, he has to. Or he just don't give a fuck at all. Like,
no, but it's like she said earlier, like, nigga, you could have the perfect, like, everything could be perfect.
Yeah.
But it's like you would still have that little bit of anxiety. Like, you would still be anxious.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
nigga, it don't even matter.
He don't even look. This nigga is DoorDashing a fucking shovel. Like, nigga.
Bold is, and then leaves his Tesla in the middle of a parking lot. Like, you're bold as shit. Like, I honestly think he wanted to be caught. Like, I honestly think he wanted to be caught, and he knew his time was coming, so he just enjoyed it. Because, dog, there is no reason, there's no way you thought you was just gonna leave the body right there in the middle of a parking lot and it was gonna be discovered.
But that nigga was not trying to be caught, bro.
But then why'd he leave his Tesla right there?
He just wasn't smart, but the nigga was an idiot.
Bro, no, bro. The nigga has to be smart if he got away with it.
Driving back and forth, grabbing her passport and trying to throw that shit away and shit. Like, nigga was trying to cover up his track.
But I think over time, he just accepted it. Because, bro, why would you leave your Tesla? Why would you leave the Tesla there? You went through all this shit to hide the evidence. You hid it for 4 months, and then boom, you took the body out of the house and put it in the Tesla, because we know that is a possibility that it could have been in the house, because the live stream, he said, yo, sorry for my bathroom stinking, nigga. That was most likely the bathroom. That was most likely the body. So you went from that to putting it in the Tesla, leaving it in the middle of a parking lot.
Yeah. But I just think the nigga is an idiot. Because then on top of that, nigga put a body inside of a fucking Tesla. A fucking car that's known to have like 18 fucking 20 plus cameras in that.
I think he gave up. He got sick of running. It's 4 months deep. I think he just got sick of running and just accepted it.
Cause there's no way, bro.
Nah, I think that nigga just an idiot.
Cause that was the biggest thing for me. Like, nigga, why would you leave the body there?
That's crazy. Our body was stupid as fuck, bro. 5 months, bro. 5 fucking months, bro.
I don't think it was it. That's the thing. It wasn't in his car for 5 months. That's just how long she could have been dead. We know that she was most likely, she could have probably been in that house when the stream was happening.
I thought they said
and I think
the body been in the car for 5 months.
Nah, the body is. I think they said the body was in the car. No, at first, nigga, they said that the state of decay of the body could have been like weeks old, but nigga, coming to find out, nigga, this shit is months old body. So like, nigga, he didn't have that shit in the car for 5 months. He had that shit. I think he put it in the car.
Okay, damn.
It's harder and harder not to do it. Even his lyrics, usually I'm not big on like, oh, guys, this is what his lyrics said, so it must mean he was planning it all along. But it's just there's so much overlap of weird coincidences, as well as the fact that he used her voice in some of his songs. But it's just, yeah, there's a lot. And in most of the pictures from the party, he has the palms of his hands faced away from the camera, or it's like balled up into fists. So there's one where he's holding his hands in the air in front of everybody, but his hands are balled up into fists, which makes people wonder if he had some sort of wound on the inner palm of his hand, because that is the most common spot for wounds if you are stabbing someone. It is very hard to stab someone without sustaining some sort of injury. Because of all the blood, there's usually some slippage of the knife, and that would be on the palm. More on the palm in a second. But soon after, according to the brief, he flies from LA to New York City. So the day after allegedly killing Celeste, he's doing an interview, he's on a live stream, he's going to an album release party, and then he's flying to New York City. The next day, he has a band lab and David pop up at Union Square. He's performing and he's singing his song Afterlife, which is on his new Withered album, at the band lab pop up. And we discussed this, but we didn't know the timeline. He breaks down crying mid-song. He's like singing Afterlife and he's crying.
Right. This was the day after?
2 days after.
Whoa. He was like on the ground, kneeling on the ground, right?
No, so that's the Houston concert that's coming up in like a few days. But this is him on this bar stool.
Uh-huh.
He's wearing his bonnet, his sunglasses, and he's like hunched over on his mic.
Wow, this is...
Notable lyrics for Afterlife include, "The devil told me you were good for me. My mother told me he would lie. What doesn't kill you waits for later. I thought a girl would make me happy. Real love is not for sale. I'm still by your side. I crossed it with you. And when I die, you're holding the knife. I'll love you even from the afterlife." It does appear that this song holds a lot of...
Hold on, guys. Give me like 5 minutes.
Notable lyrics for Afterlife include, "The devil told me you were good for me. My mother told me he would lie. What doesn't kill you waits for later. I thought a girl would make me happy. Real love is not for sale. I'm still by your side. I crossed it with you. And when I die, you're holding the knife. I'll love you even from the afterlife." It does appear that this song holds a lot of importance for him because in a previous Zach Sang interview, but this would have been filmed probably before Celeste died, Zach Sang is asking, so what stage of the Withered, is dying? Withered is dying. So you're going into dust, but you're coming back again. Is that what I'm getting through these 14 records?
It's definitely like a resurrection type of thing. So, but by the end of the project, it's done. So that's why the last track is called Afterlife. That's like the final blow,
He says that he went through a lot to write this album.
In the process of, getting outside my house and exploring the world and finding friends, losing friends, finding relationships, losing relationships, it's just everything has kind of been shaping and leading up to this project in such a domino effect way. This album is my life. Like, Withered is my life. Petals to Thorns and Lost Petals are what I wanted my life to be, and then Withered is my life.
So he's talking about his mini EPs, the Petals to Thorns and
Bro, have you seen this movie?
April 25th.
It's called, I think it's called Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
Because I watched that shit yesterday.
Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox. Like, it kind of
whenever we first came out.
But it kind of give me that same vibe. You know what I'm saying? That I would like the guys that try to like sacrifice her and
idols,
stuff. Yeah, and shit. Like, it kind of give me like that same vibe of like that's what he did type shit.
EPs, the Petals to Thorns and Lost Petals. April 25th, 2025, he posts another TikTok where he writes, "My album is out, let's fucking go." And the caption reads, "No more side quests, you guys can't bully me anymore, ha 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 ha." And he's singing to one of his songs, "Is This Really Love?" Potentially relevant lyrics include, "Is this really love? You said you never meant to hurt me, but baby, I know this is how it goes. And if there is a world where you're not leaving, then darling, I need to know, is this really love? You may have called my bluff, but you've been acting up. Hating you ain't enough. I just want my love back." One thing people have found interesting is he keeps opening his hand, his right hand, like he keeps singing to "Is This Really Love?" and opening it like a hi. And there's this red cross on the palm of his hand. And in the center, it reads Jesus, but it's almost like a scribbly red temporary tattoo. Some people think that this temporary tattoo is covering up a scar because it just looks really bizarrely done. I will say that he does typically draw crosses on his hand, but in black ink. So this is at least the first time I've seen it in red ink with Jesus written on the inside. But also the fact that he keeps showing it to the camera, people thought was weird, that maybe he's trying to hide it in plain sight.
See, I told you he was doing some juju shit.
It could just be a temporary tattoo. Some netizens believe that he got this temporary tattoo before killing Celeste, so it's really hard to gauge the timeline because a lot of his stuff has been taken down.
Giving ritual
so
vibe,
you're
bro.
kind of just going off of screenshots on Reddit that you're like, oh,
that's just
this
giving like
saying
demonic
so
ritual
vibes.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the timeline is off too.
Cause like the fact that nigga, like, bro, his old story is already weird as fuck. This nigga make music based on something that he already done or he's about to do, or it's just giving like, bro, like, nigga, you're weird, bro. You on some that shit sound demonic as fuck, bro. That shit sound demonic, bro. He on some ritual shit, bro. I don't give a fuck. That's what I feel about it.
How old is that nigga? Like 18, 19? Or like 20 now, right?
I don't fucking care. I don't even know. I don't know. But I know he was 18 and she was fucking 13.
Yeah, nigga, she like 12.
At some point when they fucking met, or 12.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Go to shopify.com/rotten. That's shopify.com/rotten.
Shopify.com/rotten.
That same day, he posted another TikTok asking, "What's your favorite song on my album so far?" And it's a TikTok of him and his sister lip syncing to "Is This Really Love?" And in the caption, he writes, "My favorites are Friend Again, Say It Back, and Ghost."
Wait, he has a sister too?
Yeah.
So you say he had a little brother?
He has a little brother, Caleb, and he has a little sister. And he would bring his little sister up on stage frequently during his tour. She looks to be about 10.
Oh my, wow.
And the only reason that I'm pointing out these lyrics now is he posted this a few days after Celeste allegedly was killed. So the fact that he's singling out these 3 songs, and most of the TikToks that he was posting in this point, he's really pushing the song "Is This Really Love?" All the TikToks, that's the song playing. He's reposting people using the song "Is This Really Love?" Now he says, "Friend Again, Say It Back, and Ghost." I don't know if there's some sort of like obligation that you have to promote certain songs in an album, or if this is some sort of inner looking into his psyche at the time, but relevant lyrics for Friend Again include, "Think we should settle down, that's what I told her. I should have been bolder. She said I'm not the one. I used to be her everything and now she doesn't answer me. I think I'm coming down, but it's not over. I'm losing my composure, letting you get to me. Good thing we're older now, but I still want her. Now you're lonely, you need company. Please don't call me. I won't be your friend again." Relevant and discussed lyrics for the song "Say It Back" include, "I love you like I'm supposed to, but you don't say it back. You never say it back. So now I hate you, and I hope it breaks you. I won't take it back. Talking to the walls inside my room, the voices in my head."
Say it back because you
Relevant
murdered.
and discussed lyrics for Ghost read, "Oh, heaven or hell, we will meet. Lucky me, just to have met. Torture me, torture me, torture me. I can't forget. He might have you, but I've got your ghost, and we both know that's the real you. And God knows it's true. I love you the most, but we both know what I have to do. Eyes looking right through me. Why can't I hear your heartbeat? Just a dream, don't wake me up. Make-believe fantasy, dance with me under the moon above." He states those are his 3 favorite tracks from the album. April 27th, he does an album release show in his hometown, Houston. He closes with Afterlife, and he apparently sings it back to back, or like 3 times. Some people are saying it was back to back, just twice. Some people are saying it was 3 times. So take this with a grain of salt. But someone had commented, "I was at his concert. The vibes were so off." Also, he sang his song Afterlife like 3 times at the end. He's also, this is where he's crying. He's like breaking down, singing Afterlife, just full on eyes closed, holding his chest. At one point, it appears that he's rocking back and forth almost, singing. And it looks like he's wearing the same bandana that Celeste was pictured in previously. Do you know which one I'm talking about? There's a picture where it's like her side profile from a party that was posted on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And she's wearing a bandana. He's wearing the same bandana. And I understand that hindsight is like a huge thing for cases like this, but there is a comment on TikTok. This is before Celeste's body is found in David's car. And it's a comment about his Afterlife performance in Houston. And the comment reads, I wonder what was on his mind. Did he really love the song, or did someone he loved die? So they're saying like it just feels like something happened. And this is before Celeste's body is found. So this is not hindsight of like, oh, we knew it. This is his guilt showing through, which I'm saying these are valid comments, but this is like truly, this person did not know. Mm-hmm. Another comment reads, I think it's creepy to see him crying, performing like this, and he keeps looking into the crowd. So originally, before Celeste's body was found, a lot of people were using his Houston show as, oh, this is David's I made it moment. So you know how people like to make edits of pop stars and singers being like, when's their I made it moment? Because he's looking out into the crowd, he's crying, he's emotional. This is his studio album being released. People are commenting, I think it's creepy because he's looking into the crowd like, this is what I did this for, because we now know she's threatened to end his career and ruin his life. It's almost as if he's singing and crying the lyrics and thinking about it in a way of like, you made me do this. Why did you make me do this? While also feeling justified of what he did because he gets to continue to live his dreams. And this is, again, not the netizen being like, I agree with him, but they're thinking like, this is what he's probably thinking because he's sick and twisted. Mm-hmm. During the show, he brings his little sister on stage with him, and it seems like for the rest of the tour, he's spending a lot of time with his family, whether that be because he's on tour and they want to support him. I'm sure that's part of it. Whether that he requested them be there with him as some sort of emotional support, it's unclear.
Who's in his family then?
I think his dad stayed back. His dad is an attorney. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he works for Brown Rudnick, huge law firm. His dad is a civil litigator for...
David's dad?
Yeah, he's an attorney.
What?
Yeah, which is why a lot of people thought that he was so silent from the beginning, because you would expect someone his age that had been so reckless thus far to maybe make a reckless post online, but it seems like he got advice from his dad and shut up.
His dad probably told him to just keep acting normal.
Brown Rudnick as well. So huge law firm, big law.
Your dad looked like Alien and Predator, nigga.
Mom was a teacher. I don't know if she still is a teacher, but mom, brother, and sister are seen a lot on his TikToks throughout this tour, like going to Asia with him. It's very eerie to know that David's sister is probably closer in age to Celeste than he was. I mean, that's not insinuating anything. It's just netizens are saying, seeing him around his sister, knowing that Celeste was 11 when he started talking to her, it just gives you an idea of how young 11 is.
Yeah.
April 26, 2025, he posts on X lyrics to one of his songs, Where Did It Go Wrong? And this is very interesting because this is not a song that is on his Withered album. This is a song back from 2024. So he's just like, I don't know if he's feeling something about this song all of a sudden, and it's suspected that Celeste's voice is in the end of it. So a lot of people have been dissecting this one. Notable lyrics include, Where did it go wrong with you? I don't belong with you. It's a tragedy. I really thought you were meant for me. I guess you're not, and I can't believe you. I really want to leave you. How could you lie to me? Every kiss put a cavity between my lips. I really can't believe you. I don't want to see you. I've got to make up my mind, but I'm wasting time. I might die. I don't want to die. You give me bad luck. I can't take it no more. Baby, don't trip on me. Baby, why can't you see? And I don't mean to sound conceited, but I'm the reason you're still breathing. I wish I never met you. I even second-guessed you, but I was in too deep. I can't leave. I couldn't let you walk away from everything. I thought you were everything. You told me I was special, girl, but that does not mean anything to me. It don't mean anything to me. And at the end, you hear what sounds like Celeste's voice saying, you were special, David.
You're special, David.
When I say it sounds like, it's not like a murmured a girl's voice, but it kind of sounds like a hum.
When I saw that word,
girl saying,
kiss
special,
and
David,
baby, bro,
just,
that
we
shit
don't know if
just...
it's Celeste, then it does sound like her. This song is back from 2024. So like I said, this is not part of his new album. But the caption just reads, 3 different flows in 60 seconds, man, I love music. Yeah. The next day, he's back to posting about the Withered album. By April 29th, he's in Brooklyn performing again, bringing his family on stage. April 30th, he's just spamming on Twitter. Petals to Thorns, Decay, Happy Indie, Alternative Rock, Summer, Empty the Clip and I'm in Love, 11 p.m. 11 p.m. is a song. Now I know who the OGs are.
So he's not even home after this happened. He's like doing a whole tour everywhere.
Yeah, he's like back and forth.
Meanwhile, we don't know what's...
No, because especially this time, we know that the prosecutors believe that on or about May 5th is when he dismembered Celeste. So between April 23rd and May 5th, the 12 days, we don't know where she was. And he's just recording music. He's not even seemingly busy because he's like, oh, I'm going to re-record one of my old songs that never released called 11 p.m. Only the OGs know it. And then he drops a re-recording of him. And then he's like, oh, wait, actually, you guys told me the vocals aren't so high. So I'm going to do it a little bit deeper. And then he re-records it and posts it on Twitter. He like keeps posting these on Twitter.
In the 12 days?
Yeah, in between the 12 days. Now, the very next important day is the first week of May. It's a huge pivotal point for the prosecution. They state in their brief that May 1st, 2025, he gets a few Amazon deliveries: body bag, laundry bags, inflatable pool, and 2 chainsaws. They're all delivered under the name Victoria Mendez. Now, there's a whole debate about whether or not David is dumb enough to believe that the fake name would throw investigators off. I actually think he's dumber than that. I tend not to believe that he was doing this for investigators. I tend to believe that he was so audacious that he didn't think that he was going to get caught at all. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't know many people, especially maybe public figures, who order anything under their names. So I think that his Amazon account has always been Victoria Mendez. Mm-hmm. So I don't even think this was like him trying to be like, oh, I'm trying to be smart and no one's going to catch me. I don't even think that thought came across his mind. Like, I think that he genuinely thought no one would even look into Celeste being gone. So he orders these items with the name Victoria Mendez. I think that a huge part of him felt that because Celeste had been missing for a minute and had gone missing previously before, and it didn't seem like there was a huge police effort to find her, that she's just a missing child and he is the David going on tour. I think that might have been more close to his state of mind, in my opinion. So for most of the first week of May, he's relatively quiet on social media. Prosecutors believe that May 5th, 2025, 12 days later, he allegedly dismembers her body. The belief is that he set up the inflatable pool in the garage of this Hollywood Hills home. There is a drainage point in the center of the garage floor where he could have gotten rid of any fluid. Now, there's also debate on whether or not this inflatable pool had been inflated or not. So because the fact that we believe, or we're led to believe through this brief, that he used the chainsaws, some people have been arguing about whether there would be splatter on the walls of the garage. And if that were the case, which we've seen pictures of this garage being released, not from the police, but from the homeowner, there doesn't seem to be any sort of like visible blood splatter, though Luminol is going to say something differently. So, but if you're using a chainsaw, people are imagining that must have been a lot of blood splatter. So people are thinking maybe he inflated the pool. There's going to be a lot more on the pool in a second. But the felony complaint reads, on or about May 5th, 2025, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of unlawful mutilation of human remains in violation of health and safety code was committed by David Anthony Burke. Court documents read, moreover, defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling out onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the LA County's Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to make a physical match from the blue fragments found inside of Celeste to the blue inflatable pool purchased by the defendant in May of 2025. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring finger and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Her fingers have not been recovered. Defendant then placed her head and torso into the cadaver bag he purchased. Mm-hmm. Then he placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into the front trunk. So he put the garbage bags of limbs first and then the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possibly months, defendant left the victim's body to decompose
so he
inside
has
his
plate
test.
number on the car.
That day of the alleged dismemberment, David apparently posts on social media on his Instagram page a story. It shows 2 pink skateboards. One of them is Kirby and the other one is Hello Kitty, which we know Celeste loved Hello Kitty. And he captions it, "Oh my God, chat, should I get?" Then a few days later, on May 8th, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home at around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the same area again on May 31st, 2025. So remember the day that he allegedly killed Celeste, he goes to Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Then he goes 2 more days after the alleged dismemberment date. So some people think that maybe he took the shovel out there and he was trying to think of burying her entire body, or maybe he just buried her fingers. Those are speculations, obviously. But like, why did he go to Santa Barbara twice? We don't know. Twice at this point, 3 times in total. There's just a lot of questions to this. All we know for sure, at least as of right now, is he purchased these items. They were delivered to his address. Celeste was dismembered at some point. But why this date? Like, why May 5th? How did they settle on May 5th? I mean, they keep it a little vague and say on or about May 5th. But still, May 5th is very precise. It's not the first week of May.
Yeah.
You know, but also, where was her body for the 12 alleged days between him allegedly killing her and then allegedly dismembering her? More on this later because it's a huge point of contention. Some people are saying she was put in a freezer. Like, it's a whole thing. But a few days afterwards, May 13th, he's in Asia for his world tour. Starting in Malaysia, he brings his sister up on stage where he's singing Here With Me, one of his most notable songs. He continues to post videos of him and his sister and even his mom posting TikToks with the song Afterlife. May 17th, he posts a TikTok in cosplay and he's dancing along to his own song. And he's holding this pickaxe and a katana. And he starts stabbing, like air stabbing, while screaming out loud and staring into the camera. Which would just be like a little over a week after prosecutors believe Celeste was dismembered, and to even be able to go on camera as a joke after allegedly dismembering someone and to make stabbing motions. Netizens think to some degree it seems like he gets off on knowing that he's going to get away with it. Some people think that he's trying too hard to almost hide in plain sight. Because maybe it's reverse psychology. Like, you wouldn't think that a killer would do this, so maybe he's trying to get away with it by doing the things that we don't think a killer would do. Some people think that he is a Ted Bundy in the making. I mean, I think netizens' reactions are just all over the place with this part. But he doesn't seem particularly anxious. Yeah. And some people are saying, like, would he not want to project a soft image? Like, why wouldn't that be the plan? Like, he seems like why wouldn't he go this far?
Yeah.
The document continues. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed the strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. July 7th, so this is after the 4th of July party live stream. He orders a burn cage on Amazon to his house, again under a fake name, and the plan was...
What's a burn cage?
A burn cage, okay, so it doesn't appear to have been used, by the way, but it's a stainless steel container that has these little pockets to let in air, and you put a bunch of things that you want to incinerate in there, and then you light it on fire.
Okay,
Yeah.
So just for you to get rid of something?
Yeah, it's a
What do
burn
people
cage.
usually get rid of?
I couldn't tell you.
I thought that was like a heater.
I would imagine probably mulch, like...
Okay.
Not
Well, he
mulch,
probably
but
put
yeah.
in like
Is it huge? Or
all the,
I would say it's big
equipment
enough
that he
to fit
use
things
on
of
her or
substantial
whatever,
size in
probably.
there.
Like
It's not going
clothing
to be
and all
like
that
a
stuff.
commercial burn cage. You can get them in different sizes,
her
but this
figure.
one I would say is maybe like from the pictures that the PI released later on. because
Usually
the
people
PI
would
was
get it.
hired by the homeowner.
not
We're going to
sure.
get there in a second, but maybe like a carry-on suitcase size, but
Well,
wider.
case, he probably
obviously,
trying to burn the
thicker,
body.
more uniform. 2 days before ordering that, he's on TikTok with a blue bob wig that a lot of people, when this case first broke out, speculated of being Celeste's wig because she appears to have worn something similar before.
Bro, this
Then
is
another
fucking...
important date is July 29th. Prosecutors allege that David, was the last person to drive his Tesla July 29th. So nobody drives the Tesla from July 29th to like September. And they write, quote, before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July, he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. And he's on tour, he's doing interviews, he's dropping the deluxe. So he's preparing for the deluxe album of Withered. He posts 2 more songs, bonus tracks for Withered.
I'm still mad at the fact
He's
that
performing on stage.
they ain't getting no
He does an
footage
interview
from
with
the Tesla.
Complex.
No,
Like-
bro, they did, bro.
So why they not trying to like give us those information? Like, you telling me the Tesla ain't capture shit?
I'm gonna be honest. Look, if they didn't capture footage, they definitely got a time zone. That's probably how they formed that time chart. That's probably how they got the time of events.
Yeah.
When it came to a lot of certain shit, because that Tesla gives you time, nigga. It'll give you time pockets of when the car started, when it's like, I know they got that shit.
You can also delete the footages on your phone too. But I'm pretty sure they can contact.
I'm pretty
Tesla
sure they got
and just tell them niggas to restore this footage or stuff. But Tesla might not do that due to like privacy.
Because if they had it, because look, I know for a fact if they had that footage or have gotten that footage off the Tesla, that nigga would have got locked up way sooner. So I definitely feel like it was hard to scavenge that if they even have it.
I'm pretty sure he deleted that motherfucker.
Yeah, like
he got that bitch. Took out the whole USB and toss it.
Bonus tracks for Withered. He's performing on stage. He does an interview with Complex where he mentions that his phone got stolen, and he says, quote, "Yeah, I checked my location on my phone this morning and it's in China getting dismembered. Tragic."
Yeah, I checked my location on my other phone this morning. It's in China right now getting dismembered, so tragic.
So this is, again, after the date of the alleged dismemberment. July and August, he's heavily promoting all of his new songs. And from July to September, he's doing a lot of odd things on social media. And even from September up until his eventual arrest in April, there are things that people have been piecing together, thinking that he had this reviewing movie account on Letterboxd and was reviewing very specific types of movies. There have been people coming out to say, hey, look, I DM'd David and he responded back after Celeste's body was found when he was basically in hiding. These are our DMs. And there's lots of theories about what exactly he did with, what was his plan? I mean, I think that's like a huge thing that people have been discussing because it just doesn't make sense. He was just going to leave Celeste in his Tesla for how long? Until forever? And just leave it parked on the street and do nothing? Like, people just don't understand what's happening. And I've tried to compile and break down the netizen theories into very clear to understand theories that people have formulated. In the 4th of July live stream that the Twitch streamer Sakura was filming, there's a moment. So the whole live stream, I'm just going to give you some context. This is the part of the live stream that people have been piecing together and clipping and posting. It's gone viral because a lot of people think that there's clues in there, foreshadowing. There's just a lot. But she is primarily getting ready in one of David's bathrooms. I don't think that this is his primary bathroom. There were a lot of people believing it was because I watched like all 2 hours of it and it seems like a secondary bathroom because at one point Sakura is looking for Q-tips and Asia, who's David's friend, who's also getting ready with her for this 4th of July party, is like, oh, I think there's Q-tips in David's bathroom.
Is there Q-tips in here? Q-tips? I think there's Q-tips in David's bathroom.
So this seems like maybe a guest bath. They're getting ready most of the time, and it's primarily just Sakura and Asia. Neo and David are kind of in and out of the bathroom. And then once they're done getting ready, they get changed and Sakura orders food to the house, which she proceeds to eat in the bathroom. Now, a lot of people have like picked up on that and they're making comments about that. I think it's just like a thing that streamers do because they don't want to set up too many frames. A lot of the video, they're also very stressed about doxing, of showing too much of the house where people find out exactly where the house is in the hills. So maybe it's just convenient. But she has her camera set up near the bathtub. She's sitting on the ground. Neo comes in and is sitting next to her. She eats. David apologizes.
You good, Mutt? You good?
Is in the hills, so maybe it's just convenient. But she has her camera set up near the bathtub. She's sitting on the ground. Neo comes in and is sitting next to her. She eats. David apologizes for the smell, and she's like, "Don't worry about it. I also took a shit."
Oh yeah, I apologize in advance for the way my bathroom smelled. I took a shit there like 2 hours ago.
I don't care. I just took a shit.
Another one? Type shit. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. I had to go.
And then eventually, she leaves her phone and she just leaves. So she's like, oh, I gotta go do something. She leaves the live stream. There's people still watching. David and Neo are now standing there. And netizens say David starts looking a little concerned. And he's like, where did they go? Where did they go? And Neo responds, oh, they went to the bathroom. And David looks behind him where there's a water closet in the bathroom, like a toilet in there. And he's like, there's a toilet right there.
Entertainment shop.
Shit, I got y'all. What's good, y'all? They were in the bathroom.
There's a toilet right there.
Yeah, but like, no, we're not.
And then David kind of blinks and he walks out and you can hear him instructing them which bathroom to use.
All of us in here just hearing.
Pissing stream.
Go to the one.
Now, I don't necessarily think that there is a body in the house at that point, because that would be incredibly ballsy.
I think there was a body.
But maybe there's places where there could be evidence of something, is what most netizens believe.
The prosecutor said the body has been in the car.
Yes, so it doesn't seem like the body is in the house, which some people were speculating, like, oh, what if he was keeping the body in one of the rooms? I think that would have been incredibly ballsy. I don't think risky. I don't think that he would have done that.
I think it's in his
he
house.
walks out, instructs them on the specific bathroom, and throughout the stream, you're going to hear them reference a woman named Celeste, who is also there during the live stream.
Welcome, Celeste. Celeste is right here, but she doesn't want to be in stream because she's weird.
Celeste, a lot of things you think you can say, don't say.
And at first, people thought this was proof that a lot of live streamers knew about Celeste, right? Because they're like, oh, Celeste is here, but she doesn't want to be on camera. Neo keeps saying, like, Celeste is here, but she doesn't want to be on the stream. People thought it was the Celeste, but it's not, because at this point, she would be deceased. Now, Celeste Herrera is the one that they're talking about. And if you remember the original 2 videos that we made, there is an older Celeste, an of-age Celeste, that was commonly referred to as Decoy Celeste. Netizens felt like David brought this of-age Celeste into his life so that when people ask about Celeste, he can say, oh, you guys are getting confused. I never dated this minor named Celeste. I was dating this girl named Celeste, and she's an adult. And some people say that she even looks similar to the real Celeste, though I don't know if that's true. People think that this was his way of causing confusion about who was really with him at these concerts and at these events. But there's this very interesting moment where David takes the live stream camera. He's holding it around like he's almost like a selfie video, right? But it's a live stream. And he turns to the side and shows Celeste, who has not wanted to be on camera this entire time. And everyone's been like, oh, Celeste is here, but she doesn't want to be on camera. Celeste is here, but she doesn't want to be on camera. He picks it up and intentionally shows her, or at least in my feeling, it feels intentional. Mm-hmm. And he goes, ooh, sorry. And she's like, what the heck?
Ooh. Sorry.
Excuse me.
That was the end of the
action.
I ain't gonna lie. They need to investigate her, bro. If somebody knows something, I think she does, bro.
Yeah.
She knows something.
Why would she know? Why would she know something?
I mean, if they're using her as a
the fact that she don't want to show her, she knows she's a decoy to something, and then she don't.
How would she know that though?
Bro, trust me, bro. She would know that.
Bro, is that saying of like I can feel it, I just can't prove it, bro.
It's the same thing with the best friend.
Oh, bro. You thinking like he told her like, yo,
yeah, like you gonna be my backup. You know what I'm saying? In case something ever goes.
Because same thing with his best friend, the dude. It's like they arrested him first, but it's like it's like they arrested him, but it's like we didn't even know if he did anything. But who knows? Well, I'm over here still thinking like somebody probably handled that shit for him, and it could be that dude.
Nah, nigga, he
that's just my assumption. But at the same time, it's like he did that shit.
That nigga was, oh man. Well, yeah, bro. I feel like she would know. So I'm not saying she does, but I feel like she would know something. And that's crazy too. Dude was literally looking for a girl named Celeste. Isn't that crazy, bro? Like, dude just out here.
Yeah, but how the fuck so he hired her?
Hey, I don't know if he hired her or just nigga. He had to hire her, bro. How the hell you find another girl named Celeste?
What are the odds?
Exactly.
And like you actually end up loving the same. No, bro, nigga, she hired, bro.
Man, something. Oh my god, again? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I think your camera is the killer, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The way this shit keep dying.
That murderer is in jail right now, bro.
Yeah.
And they need to get his ass up out of here.
They charge your shit.
That nigga camera go through.
Oh, damn.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
That was the end of the action?
Yeah. But it almost seems like he's doing it to be like, oh, well, there's a missing girl.
But that's the thing. If that's not a real name, I feel like we would have found out already.
Yeah.
Like if that's not a real name. Unless maybe that's why she's hiding the camera, because she could probably get exposed because people. Nah, but she's been to parties, bro. And people have seen her.
Yeah. She's been at his concerts too.
Yeah. So yeah, that don't make sense.
Oh,
sorry.
Excuse me.
That was the end of the.
Yeah.
What's that story?
Action?
How did they?
Yeah. But it almost seems like he's doing it to be like, oh, well, there's a missing girl named Celeste that I have ties to, so I'm showing everyone it's not that person. It's just like a really weird moment.
Really weird.
Yeah. One of the girls, this is another point of the live stream that has been picked apart. One of the girls tells David that he needs to get the bug spray because there's little spiders everywhere. To which he calmly responds, oh, for real? They ask her, and she responds that it's not the oval ones.
David, you need to get bug spray. There's little spiders everywhere.
That's what it sounds like she's saying. Now, some netizens believe that oval ones, she could be referencing maggots, but I don't know if that's like a common way that someone would refer to oval ones. Oh, it's bugs, but they're not the oval one. I think it would be very hard to not be able to clearly, distinctly differentiate between spiders and maggots. So that's also weird. I guess she could be referring to American house spiders, which are a little more oval in shape. But that's also weird to differentiate. Like when you see spiders in someone's house, you're not going to be like, oh, it's this subspecies of spiders, the American house spider that I'm finding in your house.
So what do you think? Why they?
We don't know, but it seems like there's lots of bugs in the house. Maybe even different types of bugs. And you can hear someone saying like, oh, there's, a bug spray near the staircase railing. So it seems like there's bug spray readily available. Now, I will say that spiders are very attracted to decomposing bodies. They're not attracted in the sense that maggots are. Maggots will actually feast off of decomposing flesh. Spiders feast off of maggots and flies. So they're not attracted to the body itself, but they are predators of what the body attracts.
That's nasty.
But I also know that just from the live stream footage and clips, he seems like he likes to live in disarray. There's food and trash everywhere. So I don't know. Then at one point, people say that you can hear David and Neo having a separate conversation in the background. And this is where people point the finger a lot at Neo, but Neo, it sounds like he's saying, oh, I forgot. And it sounds like David is saying something like, oh, you forgot about the car, huh? Wow, son.
I'm just gonna cover the cam. I didn't even do that. Sorry.
Now, some people are insinuating that this is, oh, Neo knows that he needs to move the Tesla and he forgot to move the Tesla and David is upset. And this is maybe when they first started moving the Tesla. But I will say it maybe could also be referencing an Uber because pretty quickly after that conversation, they go outside and get into a car to go to the 4th of July party. So it could be that. And I don't know. Now, there's another part that even people like Nancy Grace have been showing on her channel, which it's Asia and Sakura are in the bathroom getting ready. And in the background, you can hear the other Celeste talking, and it sounds... They put subtitles, right? And it's like, oh, what happened to the other Celeste? We killed her.
It's kind of giving Harley Quinn. Okay. Aw, cute. I like it. And then, wait, what is this?
I don't think at all that that's what they're saying because, first of all, you cannot. I mean, if someone says that they can, matter of fact, for certain say this is what they're saying, I think they're lying because you really cannot decipher anything. I think with added subtitles, our brain does the weird thing where we're like, oh, yeah, totally, that's what I hear. But you really cannot hear it. And second of all, I don't think that they're that dumb. I think David is dumb. I don't think he's that dumb because he does make effort to hide this. So he's not going to suddenly be like, you know what, everyone, let me just tell you what happened. Then August 12th, 2025, less than a month before Celeste's body is found, he posts that he made a new song about like 5 minutes ago and he thinks it's beautiful. So he posted on Twitter. And again, I think that this is relevant because I do believe, and a lot of legal experts believe, that his lyrics are going to be, they're going to try to bring it into court. I don't know if they're going to get away with it in the state of California. I think that Lil Durk, there's something happening with another musician, Lil Durk, who Brian Steele is representing.
He's cooked, buddy.
If you guys remember him from Young Thug, Sean Combs, but this has been like a huge thing all across the states of trying to get lyrics in. But this is written after the alleged killing and dismemberment, so it's maybe holds even more importance. But the song is called Favorite, and it has since started making its rounds as people think that it sounds like Celeste's point of view in their relationship. The lyrics read, "Can you feel the weight on you? I'm running away from you. I'm hiding my face from you. I needed some space from you. I'm bleeding out and my blood stained your clothes. Would you let me die on you?" Again, this is a song that he allegedly wrote 4 months after allegedly killing Celeste. He could have lied about it. He could have written it 2 years ago, right? But this is what he claims. The rest of the lyrics read, I can travel all night to you, no matter the distance. I'm still waiting for the day when I become your favorite, but I can see it on your face. You're in love with my replacement.
Does that nigga always make love?
Then August 15th, 2025, he writes, 2 new songs, Home and Friends, are on my archive. Now, these are not bonus tracks to Withered. These are not on the deluxe album. Netizens think that this time frame of writing and releasing songs is, again, could be more heavily analyzed because this is maybe his psyche, maybe his creative expression after the killing. Notable lyrics to Home read, no matter where I go, you still feel like home. Can't you see that I'm in pain? When I needed you the most, I started writing songs about you. Wish I had my arms around you. I was lost until I found you. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning. Every single day I'm trying to find my peace, but I can't cope. Notable lyrics for Friends include, baby, would you lie for me? Would you die for me? Would you put yourself on the front line for me? Do it all, but don't you dare say goodbye
every
to me.
time.
There is a TikTok in August of David showing off a cut finger, which everyone at the time assumed it to be anime related. However, now people are wondering if this is Celeste's real finger, which I don't think is true at all. It actually does look like the finger prop of one of the famous, like the Sukuna finger props. It's a very famous anime. It's like a fake anime finger. But the Sukuna finger prop, people have been now dissecting the meaning of it because it's from Jujutsu Kaisen. I've never seen it or read it, but it's they have Sukuna fingers in the series, where Sukuna fingers are the severed, mummified remains of the King of Curses. So the King of Curses decided that he was going to divvy up his souls into 20 of his severed fingers and make them these indestructible cursed objects. And when you collect all 20 of them, he can be like reincarnated or something like that. The fingers are volatile objects that attract other cursed spirits. You can't destroy a finger. You can try to suppress it. You can eat the finger, but that would lead you to becoming a finger vessel, a soul vessel. There's like a whole lot to this that I think it would take me quite a bit of time to really dive into accurately, though I'm not sure it really even holds much importance to the case. Just some needed context. If you're going into the thick trenches of this internet discourse for this case, people think that maybe he kept the finger because it represents a soul, and he seems like the type, and I'm not saying that this is true, but he seems like the type to believe in the Illuminati and sacrifices and self-importance of, oh, if I keep this, it'll protect me from getting caught. But I don't think it's the finger. But there is a finger.
He's fucking
in that
it up
TikTok.
for me. I'm not gonna lie.
September 4th, 2025, he announces his Crocs ad on Twitter. This is huge. September 7th, 2025, he posts on Twitter, Withered Deluxe Marcescence out September 19th, featuring Malcolm Todd, Keshi, Hyunjin, Julia Wolf, Hannah Bang, and Realist K. A lot of people have been dissecting the meaning of marcescence, which is the word that describes the phenomenon where during the winter, some trees will hold on to their withered leaves. So most trees will shed all their leaves until they're just branches, but there are some trees that won't. They'll just like hold on to the dead, shriveled up leaves, and throughout the winter it just becomes more and more tattered by the elements, and like no one knows why the trees do this. People who study trees don't know why the trees do this. It could be that they shed the leaves later in spring, so the new leaves come out and the old leaves eventually fall in spring, not winter, and the new dropping of the old leaves becomes nutrition for the tree spring. So it's like they're waiting to use it in spring if they're in an area where there's not as much nutrients in the soil. It's like a whole thing. Some people think, oh, it's because it prevents deer from scavenging on the tree if there's withered old leaves on it during the wintertime when the tree is like the most vulnerable. So there's like a whole lot of theories. It's like a phenomenon, right? But the fact that people think it's a weird thing to name the deluxe album.
I see.
Because it's also not a common word. It's also
yeah.
not a common phenomenon that really anybody knew about unless you have a really strong liking for trees. And for the past 7 months, so after that, Celeste's body is found before his deluxe album really drops. And for the past 7 months, David has been free. And nobody's really heard from him. There are rumors that he was watching movies with a Letterboxd account. Others are saying that he was on Fortnite, but nobody really knew where he was or what he was doing. There are alleged DMs between him and another artist by the name of Caden, with Caden DMing David October 15th, 2025, a month after Celeste's body is found in David's car. So Caden released these to a TikToker and was like, yeah, I was talking to him. And like, I don't know why Caden is even messaging David, but he messages David in October. Celeste's body has been found. I pray it's all just misinformation. The internet sucks. To which David responds, really does. So much twisted and fake. I'm sorry, dude. God bless you, twin. Keep going with your music and don't stop for nothing. That's David. Thank you, gang. I'll never forget you helped me so much with the band lab shit. Big inspo, bro. Hope you're staying safe. For real, man. Love you. Then notably, December 18th, 2025, he messages David once more writing, I know you're innocent, bro, but like, why can't the world know? These people are stupid. I do think that Kaden Nice has since changed his mind up about all of this, but
lock him up.
Yeah, and I don't think these DMs are doing him any favors.
Lock him
David
up.
responds, haha, with all humility, I would phrase it as
Lock
mere
him up.
ignorance rather than unintelligence. Trust in God, my friend. How is your journey into faith going? Yet David starts recommending him certain verses. He says that after reading all like the books that cover all of Jesus's life up until his death, quote, then after that read Psalms and Proverbs, which is basically the motivational part of the Bible that teaches you how to pray. Bible is confusing, but if you read it in that order, it starts to make sense. Reading it in chronological order is tricky, LMAO. Damn, dude, thank you. Bro, of course, my goat. When
what they say, the devil also know the Bible, man. You know what I'm saying? He knows the Bible.
He was there when God created man.
The devil knows the ins and outs of the Bible.
He was there when God created man, bro.
I'm about to say, but how do you know all this shit and still like, fuck it.
Logical order is tricky, LMAO. Damn, dude, thank you. Bro, of course, my goat. When people stop stalking my Instagram followers to make conspiracy theories, I gotta follow you back. Crying emoji. Which, I mean, he seems like if these are real and legitimate, it seems like he is, to some degree, keeping up with all of the internet discourse about him, obviously. Later in January, they're still talking and discussing movies, which David responds, Prestige and Gone Girl, insanely frustrating endings. Hey, sometimes those are the best endings to a story. I really liked how Twinless ended. So these are all movies that people have been breaking down of, they'll have like some sort of murderous intent to them. But I don't necessarily know if they're going to hold any value. But later in March, Kaden wishes David a happy birthday, to which he responds, thank you, brother. A month later, David is arrested. But the fact that he's still responding to this person on Instagram DMs, he's checking his Instagram account. He's likely reading what's been happening in the news cycle involving him. Like, what is he doing? And a big question in all of this is, what the hell was his original plan to even begin with? He allegedly kills Celeste, and then what? He allegedly goes through with the very gruesome and dangerous task of dismembering her body for the purpose of concealment, all to just leave her in his car that he parks outside his rental house in a city like LA where street cleaning schedules, parking tickets, towing is fucking rampant. Like, while he goes out on tour, it doesn't make any sense. Which is not to say that he didn't do it, but rather, if he did, what's the plan? What's the plan? Eventually, it would come back to him because Celeste remains, even if they weren't found, at some point, they would have looked into him, no? So the preliminary brief that the prosecutors dropped, they detail another thing that's happened. They believe that David met Celeste back in January 2022, which is when she would have been 11. He starts allegedly grooming her, violating her November of 2023. And I will say that a lot of people have been using the word relationship in reference to what was happening, even though charges have been filed. I think that's just a legal thing. I think because a lot of people are trying to stay as close to quoting the prosecutor's brief to legally protect themselves. But I do understand that relationship is not exactly the word that I would personally use. But anyway, he starts allegedly grooming and violating Celeste. November of 2023, she's 13, he's 18. Within months of what could be, again, grooming, she goes missing. Her family report her missing February and April of 2024. So this is almost like exactly a year before she passes. They report this to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, so not the LAPD, because that's where Celeste lives. And RCSD, they pull up Celeste's phone records and notice that she's been communicating with a very specific number. They call it, it's David. During this call, he's just informing the officers. I probably spoke to her last like February 13th, 14th, like Valentine's Day. But he states that he was not aware that she's a minor, let alone the fact that she's been reported missing. So back in 2024, he's like, I didn't know she's a minor.
Wow.
RCSD tell him, okay, well, we don't care because we're going to send the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department to your house because that's just what we have to do. The report reads that the LASD, this Sheriff's Department, comes to the house at around 8:15 p.m. This is the previous rental house. I don't know if you care to know this, but it's not the one where her body was found outside, right? Letting David know, they're like, hey, we're looking for a 13-year-old girl, a runaway. That's how they describe her in the documents. And he's claiming, I had no idea she was 13. I had no idea she was a minor. I only met her one time back in November of last year in 2023. So like, I talked to her last maybe like a few days ago, but I have not seen her. Like, I haven't seen her since. I met her one time. But for whatever reason, David is like, hey, officers, do you want to see a picture of Celeste? And out of all the possible photos, and again, the document does not list what year, if it was photoshopped, but he just like pulls up a yearbook photo of Celeste. Now, I think that this is a yearbook photo that does not show the graduating class or like what age she is, because clearly that would not line up with his lie of like, I didn't know she was 13. But he just shows them the yearbook photo. Very odd photo. And also, why would you have somebody's yearbook photo after you just met them one time?
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Nevertheless, the court document reads, although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. So 2 days after the LA Sheriff's Department goes to his house, she goes back home, which seems very convenient. And if there was any grace for David, it seems like it ends here, because court documents read, despite being informed by law enforcement the victim was only 13, defendant continued to pursue her. So this is like, the grace would end here. The whole I didn't know her age lie would end here. And that's the first time she goes missing, which is kind of deplorable when you think that she goes missing again in April of 2025 and the police never went to go check up on David before her body is found. Like, they never went to go question him. Court document states, throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with defendant, including summer weekends at his home in the Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. Yeah, more on that later. More on London and Texas are going to be very important. But sometime November 2024, investigators put together through their text messages that they keep breaking up. Like, they end up in that it's like a rough area. And breaking up is obviously not the correct word, but you get what I'm saying. They're still communicating, but, quote, text messages suggest they also continue to have sexual relations, but it just seems very rocky. And there's clearly a lot of people that know about this too, because when Celeste goes missing the first time in 2024 and police had shown up to David's house, it said that her parents took away her phone when she comes back. So the first time she goes missing, a year before her death, she comes back home, they take away her phone, but according to court documents, defendant drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone defendant purchased so they could stay in contact. Do you guys remember the photo of David in Lake Elsinore? With like a bunch of kids?
That's it?
People think it's that. Now, there's no confirmation because people haven't, I mean, the prosecutors probably have confirmation, but he was like allegedly giving these young kids raising canes and money.
Yeah. See, that was at first you were like, okay, we don't know what really is happening.
Yeah.
But knowing this, it feels even worse.
Yeah. It just seems like a lot of people knew what was going on. Even the teacher that came out, remember? The teacher was like, oh yeah, I taught her, and then she met this rapper in LA. Those are his words. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of, told people the story. She disappeared again. Like, these are his direct quotes.
She's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again.
Again, this just goes to show a lot of people knew what was going on to some degree. And then remember, the February 26, 2024, there was a comment left on David's TikTok that read, waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with a 13-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. This was around the time that she goes missing the first time. Then on Discord, there was a comment that was from August of 2024 that reads, drop the one with the missing girl Celeste Rivas Hernandez, in reference to the song. Netizens think that either the kids at Celeste school knew about it and were blackmailing him, because that seems to be a huge theory, or that he was paying kids to buy a phone for Celeste and giving them money to keep quiet so that he could continue talking to her. This just doesn't seem like a very well-kept secret, what he was doing to Celeste. It seems like a lot of people to some degree had some sort of inkling of what was happening. So what was the plan? It makes such little sense that people have started to circulate conspiracies online that David didn't get rid of Celeste's remains because he was keeping her as a trophy, to live out some sort of sick fantasy of having a sacrifice for fame, which I don't think is the case, but I will briefly cover some of the discourse. A lot of it stems from a manga. David mentioned in an interview previously that he likes this manga where there's a detective who is investigating a string of murders. he's committing those murders. He just doesn't know it yet. So he's committing the murders and then he's investigating it. And based off the description, that manga seems to be MPD Psycho, multiple personality disorder psycho, which, I mean, obviously the name is problematic in and of itself. But it's about a detective who is investigating a serial killer who has a penchant for dismembering their victims. That is their typical MO. The serial killer eventually sends the detective an icebox with another victim's torso and head. So the limbs have been amputated. The legs and arms are gone. Just the torso and head, which is, I guess people are saying it's equating to how Celeste was similarly found. The detective opens it up. It's his girlfriend who is still somehow alive during all of this. The detective hunts down the killer, kills him, and this is where he develops DID. He serves his time in prison. He's released, but then he realizes that that was him all along. It's just like this very complicated, multi-seasonal show manga. He starts working for this PI company where he realizes that on his left eye, there's this barcode that has been tattooed on under the eyelid. He learns that there's this whole organization that tattoos the left eyes of serial killers, which is how he finds out that he must have killed before. That leads him to believe that maybe he's always had alters since his childhood. In the anime, the left eye, known as the barcode, is almost the identifying soul of the person. That has been a big point of contention for netizens. And just to give you context, when they found Celeste's head, the autopsy read, the head is partially skeletonized with an absent left eye. The right eye is still there. Now, side note, some believe the left eye as being intentionally gone because in the autopsy, it says that the left eye is absent. It doesn't say that it was partially consumed or that it had liquefied. That has led a lot of people, including even big public figures like Nancy Grace, to speculate that that eye was intentionally taken. I will say it is known that during decomposition, the eyes can collapse inside the sockets, and there's multiple different species and types of insects with high insect activity found in the body bag. So I will say it seems highly likely that it was just fully consumed by maggots. But some people have been using that element to bolster the theory that maybe he was recreating this manga when he allegedly killed Celeste. Because he does, I will say he does seem heavily interested in Japanese culture and manga. He even had his own alter ego he called Itami that we talked about in the previous episodes. In an interview, he talks about how Itami is the Japanese word for pain. It's the villain of his album. He's the one making me withered and feel all these emotions like grief and confusion. He's the one that is weaving his way into my relationships and ruining them and inducing trauma and things like that. You see him in the music videos and stuff, so he's basically the agent of chaos in this scenario.
So is Itami attached to this album? And that's Japanese for pain.
Absolutely, yeah. Itami is the villain of this album. He's the one that is weaving his way into my relationships and ruining them and inducing trauma and things like that. You see him in the music videos and stuff. So he's basically the agent of chaos in this scenario.
Which, in a previous interview, he states that Itami is a character that he has been ideating on for a really long time.
The story of the manga went like I was a detective and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective.
Basically ripping off MPD Psycho. So like when I was a detective, I'd be solving murders that I'm committing myself. Netizens think that he might have been too into it. And again, this doesn't mean that he doesn't know right from wrong, but these are just some coincidences I guess people have been picking up. I don't personally subscribe to this whole like sacrifice theory, but I think it's just up for debate. The last concert before her body is found, he's also seen wearing a 97 shirt on stage. 9/7 being September 7th, which is Celeste's birthday. Could be a coincidence, but netizens say that he likes the meaning of numbers. He uses the number 4 in his name, which means dead, but...
Oh, is that why?
I don't know. He kind of insinuated in previous interviews that he does it to be unique. Like, he just thought it was cool.
Nigga got dead in his name, bro? All right, buddy.
He kind of insinuated in previous interviews that he does it to be unique. Like, he just thought it was cool. But some people are using it as like, see, he really cares about numbers. So he's wearing this 97 shirt. It must have meant something. In an interview that's released later in May, he's asked, you know, as for if he would do anything differently with his album, Heartbreak, experiencing heartbreak, writing through it, he responds, everything, especially the mistakes in the music that I made and all the artistic flaws that I've had in the process of me building a great album have been important and kind of needed for this entire process. So I wouldn't give myself any other advice than just, yeah, I wouldn't change anything because if I did, then it wouldn't be an album. There would be no progression and any evolution and maturity. So yeah, keep everything the same. It seems like this is after he allegedly killed Celeste. So he's saying, I would keep everything the same. which isn't really necessarily an admission of guilt, but it's just an interesting thing to note. Then there's the issue with the 2 fingers being missing. So the 2 fingers being missing, I've seen this theory circulate quite frequently, is, well, the left ring finger, prosecutors believe that the David tattoo was on Celeste's left ring finger. Now, I will say it would be very tricky for him to just cut the ring finger, so that's probably why the pinky is also missing. But people have kind of taken this and made it something bigger. Some think that it's the Japanese tradition of atonement and remorse for the pinky finger. It's dated back to the Yakuza days. So back then, when the Yakuzas were heavily around, they would cut off a tip of their own pinky as atonement, as remorse. It's almost like this is how you ask for forgiveness. Or when there were Yakuza wars, they would cut off the remaining people who are now going into their Yakuza. So like, let's say Yakuza A takes over Yakuza B. Members of Yakuza B would have their pinky finger taken off because it's very hard to hold a sword, a katana, if you have your pinky finger chopped or like severed, because it'll slip out when you're fighting. But I don't know. I mean, I think that it genuinely just seems like logistically it would be very hard to take the ring finger without the pinky finger, so he just took it both. It might be easier that way. But where is it? We don't know. If he did keep the fingers as a trophy, wouldn't the police have found them? Would he dispose of them after the body was found? But that would be very risky because I'm sure the police are watching his every move. Was it before the body was found? And if then, is it in Santa Barbara? One person writes, the current theory that David kept Celeste's 2 fingers as a trophy makes me hesitate. I work in medical psych. He just sounds like a narcissistic kid, not a genius. I honestly think he took them to Santa Barbara and launched them off a cliff or into the woods. That's it. I think his thought process was, now no one will know we knew each other, because he's a complete dipshit, not a mastermind. People want him to be this deep, calculating killer. His lyrics were all the same and they were basic. The way he spoke in interviews sounded like a high schooler who just discovered new words he could use. He's not that guy. And honestly, if he actually kept them as a trophy, we would already know, because at some point in some video, they'd be sitting in the background or hinted at, because any attention is good attention to someone like him, and he can't help himself. He's not intelligent. He's just a moron who thought he could get away with it. So if he's not keeping Celeste's remains as a sacrifice or some sort
I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to you, Stephanie, for the way you read that shit like you were just talking, bro. I ain't gonna lie, nigga. I was still on line too, nigga. But that was nigga. She read that shit like she was just communicating.
That
to you,
nigga brain catching up.
Nigga, I saw a word that looked like I saw a word that looked like 2 the same word, nigga. My dyslexia kicked in when she started, nigga.
That nigga said, hold on, what was
that motherfucker? That nigga Lumi reading slow motion, and then size not go.
I'm like,
nigga moving like nigga in Utopia, nigga.
That shit crazy.
Oh shit, Stephanie read that shit fast as hey, god damn.
attention is good attention to someone like him, and he can't help himself. He's not intelligent. He's just a moron who thought he could get away with it. So if he's not keeping Celeste's remains as a sacrifice or some sort of sick trophy, what was his plan? One person theorizes, I think he put her body in his trunk intending to dispose of it, but after the nasty work of dismembering, her being in the trunk felt gone enough that avoidance kicked in. He meant to dispose of her, but at any given moment, it was easier to just pretend the problem didn't exist. He had other cars to drive, plenty of friends and activities to distract him. Maybe he hadn't settled on a spot he felt confident about. Plus, once the body is out of his hands, he can't control the situation. A random body out in the woods or in the desert, dug up by animals, may not be reported in the news, and he may have no idea she's been found. In his trunk, he stays in control, or so he thinks. Days turns into weeks, turns into months, and then nothing bad happens. Just a few parking tickets, no big deal. I mean, they haven't towed the car yet. Why would they now? The murder victim in it becomes easier to ignore each day, especially with the album dropping and the upcoming tour to think about. The smell isn't so bad, right? People probably think it's roadkill somewhere before the breeze carries it away, right? One person comments about the smell. I don't know. I smelled a dead body after just a few days. It was summer in a hot apartment, and I had to throw out my clothes and scrub myself raw in the shower because that shit permeates your nostrils. We also don't know when the body was moved to the car. The prosecutors hint at the fact that they think the body has been in the car since dismemberment. But a lot of people just don't understand how that's feasible in any sense of the word. When was the body moved to the car? Is it true? Because August 27th, 2026, by this point, it would have already had multiple hot days in Los Angeles. Parking enforcement had chalked the car. Do you remember that? They had come out and they chalked where the car was positioned, and there was no odor complaint. And like the parking enforcement officer was close enough to mark tire positions on August 27th, but apparently they didn't report any sort of smell. By September 8th, the smell triggers a police call.
Details after a body was found inside a car at a Hollywood tow lot today. There's no immediate information about the identity of the person found inside.
They just don't understand how she was kept in that trunk for that long and how nobody could even move the car, how nobody smelled it before and called the police. And then suddenly it goes to the tow yard and now there's flies. Like there weren't flies circling the car before. It just doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Even when they're towing the car, wouldn't the tow truck driver sense it first? Unless maybe there was just like a random heat wave, but even that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Some people think that he actually placed her in the trunk purposefully to try and speed up decomposition, and that goes back to the burn cage. The burn cage that he ordered, it seems that he kept it still in the box, according to the PI. So why didn't he use the burn cage? Some people think that he was waiting for her to decompose because it would just be easier to try and burn the human bones into ash. Now, some people think, no, he got the burn cage and then he realized he couldn't use the burn cage because burn cages require very specific outlets. So that was like their whole argument of like, I've worked with burn cages, like you can't just plug it up into a standard 120 volt home outlet. I will say the specific burn cage he got is not even power generated. So it's like a steel containment box. You put in all your rubbish, you light it on fire, and then you just wait until it burns out, or you have a hose and you hose it down. So he wouldn't need any sort of electrical power. Or maybe he just realized burning anything in the Hollywood Hills would instantly cause a lot of attraction and attention and the firefighters would come immediately. I don't know. One comment reads, the fact that the fucking pool was still in his house is the final piece of evidence I need to know that he simply was a dumbass. No longer, maybe he had a plan and ran out of time. Nope, just plain stupid. That could have been thrown out and long gone in the landfill, yet the idiot kept it. Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation about that because people are arguing, well, if you throw out the entire inflatable pool, it's just very difficult. Someone's going to see it. They're going to notice blood on it. Other people are saying he had a lot of time. He could have slowly cut the pool into small shreds, not shreds, but small pieces, and then slowly put those pieces in his trash. And then eventually they would have ended up in the landfill. Others are saying maybe that's not possible.
Yeah, it sounds like he has a lot of time, but also he doesn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, he has a lot of enough time to hang out and relax here and there, but he is on tour a lot. Yeah. He does have a lot of contractually obligated things that I think he must do. Even, the live stream the day after killing Celeste. I think one of the things is some people think that it's him showing off to the world like, hey, I'm just going to live stream as normal. I actually think that he's probably contractually obligated to live stream if he was releasing some sort of Fortnite locker and the whole point of the story was he started as a Fortnite streamer.
Yeah, or these are probably already pre-planned.
Yeah.
Right? So canceling would be more suspicious.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, he has time. He doesn't have a lot of time. I don't know. It's odd. I think a lot of months had gone by, but I don't know what's going on. Some people are really confused why David left Celeste's head and torso inside the body bag and then left the rest of her limbs inside of a trash bag underneath, whereas he could have placed the limbs in the body bag as well, or at least placed the trash bag inside the body bag, but maybe it was the confinement of the front trunk. The autopsy notes that she was liquefied, which the body bag seems to have kept the liquids in. There's also debate about the PI that was hired by the homeowner, and I'm going to go in, do a whole deep dive into him in a second, but he went into the garage and he's just really confused.
Can you tell me where did this PI come from? What part of the timeline is that?
So right after Celeste's body is found, the homeowners, because that house was a rental home in the Hollywood Hills, the homeowners are so taken aback because they didn't know David was living in their house. The home was leased under David's manager's name. So they're like, I thought a guy named Josh Marshall was living in my house. Why the fuck is this guy named David living in my house? And they found a body in his car. I didn't even know he was living in our house. The homeowners have young kids. They decide, this is so stressful. We don't even live in the state. We're going to hire this private investigator, and we just want to know exactly who's been in the house, what's been going on in the house. Like, we just want answers, because if we ever go back to LA with our children, like, we don't want to stay in this house. Like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know. So they hire this private investigator, and he had access to the house almost immediately after the police searched it. David quickly moved out, obviously, right after that. He moved, I guess, to that house in the Hollywood Hills. But the police took pieces of evidence, but they also left a lot of things. David also left a lot of things. They left a lot of furniture. David left some SD cards that the PI has been going through. There's been nothing particularly damning, except there are some photos of Celeste, like when they went to what appears to be Santa Barbara to take pictures. It's like a very scenic place. Yeah, there's the last time that they were taking pictures together was like in January. There's a little bit of like small nuggets the PI has been releasing. He's been doing his own research. Some people don't really like this PI because he is pretty vocal with pointing the fingers at people.
Really?
Yeah, some might say with reckless abandon. Some might say he's just passionate and he's keeping this in the news. I don't know. I guess it's up for you to decide. But he has been hired, and he released pictures of inside the garage, and that's how we know the exact burn cage. The prosecutors just said burn cage. The PI actually released pictures of this burn cage months ago, but nobody knew what was going on. He was just like, hey guys, I found a burn cage in the garage, and chainsaw. He found a chainsaw as well. There was no, obviously, tissue or anything on there. It was just like chainsaw packaging.
It was in the garage, and it had not been used. It still had the protective shield over the chain itself. But there it is with a burn cage, and you got to wonder what this plan was.
So the weapon was not found, right?
I think the police probably took it. Oh. Yeah. So he's like, I found this, and I found the burn cage, and I just can't comprehend why David would need it, because this is a rental home. He's not fixing anything up. He's not doing landscaping. Mm-hmm. Like, why would he need these things? Nobody knew until the prosecutor's brief came out. Mm-hmm. So that's how we know the exact brand of the burn cage. Now, the big thing that the PI has been saying is he just doesn't understand, because once this prosecutor brief drops, it's like, oh, he did this in the garage with the inflatable pool. That's literally what the prosecutors have told us. The PI is saying, when you guys came in and searched the house, I mean, you did not crime scene the shit out of this place. Like, they did some luminol tests, but it didn't seem like this massive operation where a full dismemberment took place in the garage and you guys are locking everything down. Like, you guys were pretty in and out quick. He's also saying the garage is 2 stories tall. If there's any sort of spatter, that would be really difficult for David to clean, and David doesn't look like a good cleaner. On top of that, the floor of the garage is like brick. It's like the craziest garage floor I've ever seen in my life. It's like the side of a house. It's brick. There's so much grout. There's so much brick.
Oh, so it's hard to clean.
Yeah. So he's like, I just don't understand how this happened in the garage.
If it happened in this garage, that is like 15-foot ceilings. It's 2 stories high, that garage. To clean that up would be a mammoth.
And there was no evidence of like cleaning supplies bought or anything like that.
No.
The PI has been saying, I think he killed her in Santa Barbara. I think he did this in Santa. So there's lots of
she'll be stuck to the ground.
Which a lot of people are like, maybe he shouldn't put out these crazy theories. So there's debate about that. There's a debate about everything in this case. Like, one sentence is 20 debates.
So they didn't do their own testing in the garage to see if there's any blood.
Yeah, or at least not that I know of. But maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So that's where a lot of the whole theory of, okay, well, maybe he inflated the pool. Because, there's been another thing. People have kept calling it a kiddie pool. We have no idea if that's true. In fact, it seems like it was not a kiddie pool. The prosecutor said inflatable blue pool, but everybody has been running with kiddie pool for whatever reason. I guess it's a better title. I guess it's a better clickbait, but it seems like it was like a full-size pool.
So the size difference.
Yeah, size difference, and then size difference is kind of important. So it could have been inflated. And then a chainsaw. The chainsaw has been a huge point of contention. One Emmy states that a regular handsaw would probably be a lot better. Like, you might just get a little bit of tissue. You're going to have some blood, but chainsaws are going to sling actual tissue everywhere. So the idea that this had to be cleaned up completely, there's no way under God's green heaven that you're going to be able to clean up every bit of tissue deposition that there is. I mean, you might think you've gotten it, but once the cops get in there and they have enough time, they're going to collect something. I did some research into it because all the Emmys are saying, like, it's like news. Oh, we're here with a former forensic expert. And they're all like, no, a chainsaw would have gotten blood everywhere. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. If David cleaned it, I don't think he's cleaning it alone. So that's where I went down this whole rabbit hole, and apparently there's a whole case about it. A bit of a morbid test was done back in 2009. There was a study published in the Journal of Forensic Science where there was a real investigation into a woman who had been taken apart by a small electric chainsaw, a small one. And there were multiple questions that the investigators had because the investigators, they found such little blood splatter, which didn't make sense. In everybody's mind, according to the movies, when you think of people with chainsaws, everything's splattering everywhere. The investigators were so puzzled by this, it led to a study where forensic pathologists dismembered 2 very large deceased pigs with small electric chainsaws under controlled conditions, and they found that depending on how you hold the chainsaw parallel to the floor, very little splatter occurs actually.
Interesting.
Another misconception is that the chainsaw would get jammed, which doesn't seem to be the case even with the tiny electric chainsaws with the pigs. So those were the findings that they had, that even the small ones can cut through large carcasses without much difficulty, thus disproving, I guess, all the movie effects of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And all the experts making comments right now.
Yeah. But again, you would have to hold it in a very specific direction. But I guess that might be what makes sense in this, so that there's not blood splatter everywhere. Because I think that is posing as a big question mark. And everyone's like, maybe he killed her somewhere else, which I feel like the police would know that. However, I would imagine timing would also be important. Prosecutors believe that David dismembered Celeste 12 days after her death. Netizens theorize online, like, where was she for 12 days, you know? And then also, once you're 12 days into decomposition, unless you're kept in a really cold, I guess, cool environment, it's going to be really hard to move somebody's body because there's skin slippage. There's a lot of fluid buildup. It's not even just about hauling dead weight. It's things are moving in the skin. Yeah, exactly. So where was she kept?
Exactly.
If he didn't get the pool until at least May 1st.
So David lives there by himself?
He lives there by himself, but I imagine lots of people have the keys to that place.
Yeah, because isn't like his friends, his family always
His family lives in Texas. His friends, I mean, it doesn't appear that anybody lives with him. If anything, I think the prosecutors believe at some point Celeste was obviously living with him when she was missing. So there's just like, it doesn't make any sense if there was, where was she for 12 days? Which is why TMZ initially, they reported that Celeste had been frozen at some point. The LAPD actually came out to say that's not true at all, that she was not frozen when they found her in the trunk. But that wording is also interesting, of not frozen in the trunk when, you know, there's no evidence that she was frozen recently. But if she had been deceased for so many months, maybe she had been frozen the first 12 days. There's lots of confusion there. Though I will say, I usually take everything TMZ says with a bag of salt. And if he's just ordering things on Amazon, why is he not ordering any cleaning supplies? He doesn't strike me as someone who stockpiles cleaning supplies. He doesn't seem like the type that he opens up a cabinet and he's like, I got 12 vacuums and I got all the Lysols and the Cloroxes. I have everything. So he didn't Postmate it. He didn't order it on Amazon. Maybe he went to the store and paid in cash, but that also doesn't seem like him. He's Postmating a shovel to his house. I don't think that he's going to go to a store and buy Clorox wipes.
So did he have help or something?
You're wondering how come there's not much sign of cleaning?
Yes, but also maybe that's where the smell is coming from. Maybe he kept her inside the house in one of the bathrooms for 12 days and then moved her to the garage to dismember her, and there could be remnants of the decomposition scent that he did not thoroughly clean, and it's just been lingering inside the house. So rather than the very morbid conspiracy that she was kept in the house, her remains were kept in the house up until like July, perhaps it could be that he just did not clean well. I don't know. People are just saying, it's irking me that she wasn't frozen. That's what people are saying. People are saying this seems virtually impossible. Nothing makes sense right now. There has also been the very big discourse about whether or not she was pregnant. The autopsy report reads that it was unclear whether or not she was pregnant. That's just how they have to write it. Because if they don't have definitive proof that she was or was not, they can't definitively say one way or the other. However, there was no fetus found. Her ovaries were an appropriate size. There was no trauma that they could find, at least at this point in the decomp. So there's no indication that she was pregnant at the time of her passing. But a lot of people have inflated unclear to, oh, she probably was. But that also doesn't mean that it hadn't happened before. So remember those Discord chat logs? David was in the Discord asking questions like, what should I name my kid, guys? Deleted user who people believe to be Celeste is writing, guys, I think I'm pregnant. Investigators have found messages between David and Celeste where they talk about, quote, sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B emergency contraceptives. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. And at one point, March 2025, so a month before she's killed, she messaged him, all we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself. They also found a lot of CSAM in his phone. Court documents listed as the description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in sexual activity when she was 13. The evidence does constitute as CSAM, and just to give you even more context on how depressing this news is, when she was found in the trunk, she still had braces. I mean, she's like, everyone wants to say she's 15, or they want to say, oh, the girl or the woman found in her, the young lady. She's like a baby. She looks like a child. She had braces during the autopsy. There are reports that they found 40 terabytes of CSAM, which even any trace of CSAM, I think people should get life in prison, but we don't know how much CSAM exactly was found in his device, and whether or not it's just Celeste or if there's other victims or if he was purchasing and downloading CSAM from the internet, it's unclear. It's been getting misreported as being 40 terabytes of just CSAM. The deputy DA, Beth Silverman, who's on this case, says David's iCloud account contains, quote, a significant amount of CP. She says they have about 40 terabytes of evidence and data, but she doesn't directly say how much CSAM there is.
Okay, so it's not 40 terabytes of CSAM.
Yes, which, I mean, 40 terabytes of data evidence is a lot, but it seems like it's going to be a huge case with a lot of discovery. But we just don't know how much CSAM.
Like, to be 40 terabyte, I'm just trying to picture, it's got to be a lot of, like, videos or, like, large files or photos. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, that's got to be...
Yeah, I'm assuming...
To reach that amount.
I'm assuming he has tons of audio recordings. Because
still nothing.
Videos, audio.
It's gotta be videos.
And they did wiretap his phone. We're gonna get into all of that. I don't know if that's included in the 40 terabytes because they haven't gone through most of it. So it's just a little bit unclear. They might have even more evidence, but yeah, there must be a lot of videos. Yeah. Because I mean, text and code data of like locations, that doesn't really take up that much space.
Yeah.
There were then conspiracies that David maybe filmed the entire killing and that was categorized in with the CSAM and that there's a snuff film out there. But I mean, some of the conspiracies have really gotten out of hand with that. DA Hockman, when he is asked about why this took so long for an arrest to be made, he states that, quote, I think the police chief got it right, that in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses often who are cooperative and some who are not cooperative in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. Some people think that that last sentence is very interesting phrasing. In order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at that time, which could be very just generic language of like, this is how we conduct an investigation, of we're trying to figure out who, when, what, where. Like, these are the investigative answers that we're trying to get to. But some people say it sounds like vague language where it almost sounds like maybe more than one person was involved. But that is where I leave you with part one. And the part two for this is going to be up. We're going to be talking about all the people that have been pointed as potential accomplices by the internet, as well as David's attorneys, who they've represented before, what it seems like their defense strategy is going to be going into the preliminary hearing that's happening in June, and what even is going to be happening in the preliminary hearing. So with that being said, stay tuned, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
They gotta torture that nigga.
Man, I'm with you on that.
They gotta torture that.
That's
nigga.
the part two right there.
Yeah, I think that's part two. But there's no way his friend doesn't know. But like, if that's his closest friend, bro, like nigga, nigga gotta know something.
They gotta torture that nigga.
But that nigga was smiling in jail, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. They gotta get him. They gotta chop that nigga fingers off, bro.
Yeah, you can't just give this nigga the death, bro. That's too easy.
Oh man, what?
That's too easy, man.
They gotta get them toes up off that nigga.
Yeah, honestly,
this shit is ridiculous.
They got a sukuna that nigga, man. Go from one finger to another, bro.
They got a question I'm pretty sure
one at a time.
I don't even, bro. I want. Oh man, it's man. It's TOS. It's TOS, bro.
I need you to calm down, dog. You good?
No, I ain't fucking good, nigga.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. All right. You gotta word it differently, dog. Just word it differently. But honestly, though, like there is no way. Like, how the fuck did bro clean up nicely, bro?
He must have done it somewhere.
You know what I think, bro? I'm gonna throw ideas so niggas can be on his ass. Nigga, yeah, I think what he did was cover up the whole area. Just what niggas do. They cover up the whole area and they get a tent and they have like a little tent, bro. And they do it inside of that shit, and that's what avoids the blood splatter all over the place, bro.
But I feel like
that's my theory.
That nigga had a tent, bro. The only thing they've told us he had was the inflated balloon shit or whatever.
He probably already had it. He probably already had some type of tent, bro. The nigga's a millionaire. He probably already had it.
That's true.
He probably already had some shit, bro.
I feel like he probably did it somewhere else, bro. But the idea you have might be also true. Like it might have said like, you know, those freaking big ass bag stuff, whatever.
That's just to cover up the floor, but like the actual to prevent like the wall splatter and the ceiling, he had to have been covered himself up. Like, he had to have covered that shit up.
That's what I'm thinking. He got some type of help. That could have been.
I'm just saying this shit sound like a whole bunch of ritual, bro.
Yeah, like a tart. Yeah.
Because I don't know how that pool shit worked. That
you got chat watching you, bro. Watching you. Watching too much you. That shit
you was crazy.
Nigga, that shit teach you some shit. Watching too many movies, nigga.
The nigga's acting like he is normal. Like you can't even read this nigga and be like, oh, he had done something. You know what I'm saying? Bro came up to stream playing Fortnite, like. Nigga,
yeah, like, bro, what
the fuck?
That nigga was over there engaged. Oh yeah, let me get your skin, dude.
Like, nigga, that's like, so weird, bro.
What the fuck is
Let's
going on?
party.
Bro, you will not see me on the internet for another. Nigga, I would be in a different country.
I ain't gonna lie. Shit, nigga, I ain't gonna lie. I would have buried myself somewhere underground and just like. I would have buried myself somewhere underground. Like, nigga, I would live in the fucking torment. I would be a troll. I would be a fucking troll, bro. Like, I would just be living under the fucking grass, bro. Just
nigga, I would have went to a different country, nigga.
Yeah, but that's good too. If he tries to leave, then he's gonna look suspicious.